now listening to a Thinking Boy podcast.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of a Thinking Boy podcast. I'm your host, Cesar Perez, with
the Terrible Texan.
Or Kurt Cobain's offspring.
Illegitimate.
Do you think the timeline adds up?
No. Damn. What do you mean by that, anyways?
Like if he were to maybe he hooked up with the person in Texas one time, and...
No, I mean I'd still be born 2.5, 3 years too late. Yeah, three and a half.
Too late.
Too late. Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool though.
No, there'd be a lot of questions I'd ask my parents.
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
Especially at this point in my life.
Yeah, imagine they just drop it on you out of nowhere, like, yo.
Then I'd be like, where is he? Because he's obviously not dead.
Right.
Die in 1994. Like, where is he?
Yeah, no, I don't know, man.
Cuba?
Tupac?
He's in Cuba with
Tupac?
Bro.
How do you think that would impact society if next year Tupac's just like, yo, this is legit faked his death, legit.
Okay, so here's the thing. When I was in high school, I believed in it. The 27-day theory and all.
Yeah.
I'm a huge old school hip hop fan. I like the 80s shit, I like the 90s shit. I like pretty much everything up till 50 Cent.
Mm-hmm.
I like a little bit of Lil Wayne, but whatever. Anyways, I believed heavily
the
in
Donk
the
Illuminati
theory, the 7-day or 27-day theory or whatever it was called.
What a crazy album that he dropped at the end of it.
Yeah, the whole thing was filled with symbolism, all the Machiavelli stuff, and I remember there was some Machiavellian equation that you could do based upon Tupac's writing on that album that would tell exactly when he was going to come back, based on his own writings and his own words. There's a whole documentary thing that was made about it, and it convinced me if Tupac is truly alive, he will come back around this time or within this year. And it was 2017 or 2018 or something.
Okay.
And nothing happened.
Didn't happen.
And I was like, okay, that settles it. That conspiracy theory was wrong. Tupac's dead. And then what was it last year or the year before? The guy who killed Tupac pretty much confessed.
He did it, yeah.
Yeah. And then it's okay, so Tupac's actually dead.
He's dead.
Yeah. I mean, plus Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg claim to have seen him in the hospital dying. So it's there comes a point where it's all right, the conspiracy stuff needs
it just needs to die out and shit.
Yeah.
But it would have been crazy though.
It would have been crazy.
It would have been crazy, especially around the time of the hologram type shit where they had the hologram going and stuff like that.
Dude, if there was a hologram of Tupac and then the real Tupac
popped up,
busted out,
almost morphed from him.
Yeah.
That'd be hard.
It would be historic. He'd probably be arrested.
Yeah, because for faking the death,
his death,
Yeah. How long do you think it would be in the news though? Because I feel like things move so fast now, bro. I don't know. It might just
it would go
months.
down in history because nobody of that
stature
and status and wealth has faked their death, especially in such a bloody and
a brutal
way. Yeah,
shit was nasty, bro. He got shot up. The fact that it took so long to find his killers was so annoying.
That BMW was on Pawn Stars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they tried to sell it to the Pawn Stars people.
Fucking
I don't
Pawn
remember
Stars,
if they
dude.
did or not. Yeah.
With Chumley or the fuck his name is.
Yeah, Chumley, dude.
That and Impractical Jokers are whenever I'm in a hotel, it's just always on, bro.
When I was getting my motorcycle license a couple years back, I can swear on this podcast.
Right? Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, in the little waiting area, whenever we took our little breaks, Impractical Jokers was on.
Oh, yeah.
That Harley dealership. And I'm like, yeah, this checks out. Impractical Jokers and Harleys.
You know what's crazy, bro? I didn't know this person, but I've been a fan. One of the reasons why I got into podcasting was there's this podcast called Tell 'em Steve Dave. And one of the dudes on there, his name is Quinn, and he's Q from Impractical Jokers. And I had no idea that he was even on the show. I had no idea that there was a connection there until someone brought his name and I'm like, God, he sounds so fucking familiar. What is this? And then I looked and I'm like, wow, it's him.
That's incredible.
Because he would never talk about it on the show. He'd bring it up here and oh yeah, I'm filming this day. We couldn't record some shit, but to see him, I'm like, damn, I've never really put a face to the voice. It kind of threw me off. Even now, I'm like, damn, this is a really popular show, and there's some weird connection to that and this podcast that I enjoy.
Yeah. there's a lot of stuff like that. I mean, the universe works in weird ways where you just have different connections and stuff like that to different things.
Are you a
Things
big
happen.
like say like numerology, but that kind of stuff, that kind of astral kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, like, what do you mean by that?
Like
Ask your question in a
not
different way, and then you shall receive
not
your
not
answer.
not necessarily like horoscope wise, but more
Yeah.
like kind of like, because I don't know anything about that either, but more like spiritual kind of
Yeah, I'm
things. You know what I
very,
mean?
very religious and spiritual.
Okay.
It impacts our everyday life.
Where did that come from? If you don't mind expanding on it a little bit.
Oh, boy. Okay, we're going back 10
Take me
years now.
back, man. Take me
So
back.
in high school, okay, so I was raised in an American Protestant Methodist church. It wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't like, speaking in tongues. It wasn't any of the Mormon stuff. It was pretty normal, average Protestant Christianity with no crazy beliefs. Average. Wasn't a mega church. It was a small church. And sort of how I was raised. But I never felt like a connection to God. I never felt like super religious or anything like that. And then in like my freshman or sophomore year, I find out that my dad somehow spoke to the Dalai Lama for like a day and a
Whoa.
half. And they had like a wonderful conversation about life. And it seemed to me that my dad may have actually been a Buddhist at heart, and my mom was the Protestant Christian.
Mm-hmm.
My dad gave me books written by the Dalai Lama, and I read them, and I claimed to be a Buddhist and follow Buddhism and all that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really know if I was truly like Buddhist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I meditated, and said mantras and stuff like that. I have a Buddhist tattoo on my shoulder, and so I was always like really spiritual, and I always sought something out there. And then, I get older, I go off and I join the Navy, and I have all these experiences in the Navy. Your listeners don't know this yet, probably, unless they've heard me on one of the other podcasts, but I broke my back in the Navy.
Mhm.
That's a whole ordeal. And essentially, after that, I became very agnostic. Like, I knew there was something out there.
That's kind of where I'm at right now, to be honest with you. More agnostic, yeah.
I had no idea what it was, because I still felt all that spirituality from my Christian upbringing, and then the Buddhism in high school and college part one in the Navy. And then, I mean, I just felt like there was like an empty hole. And a couple of years passed, and I decided to go back to church. And I'm trying to find a church because I'm like, something's got to click.
Right.
I'd either be the youngest person at the church, or it'd be like too crazy or too
like not showboaty, but you know what I'm saying, like showy, like
So I'm a musician.
Okay.
I make records. I put on a performance,
too performative maybe is the word.
Yeah, so I went to this one church. It's the Woodlands Church. I'll even call it out. I don't even give a shit. This blew my mind and broke my heart at the same time.
Oh no.
They told the story of David and Goliath. And at the very end of the service, they're like, you know what our Goliath is? We need to raise $5 million for soccer fields for young adult men and women so that they can play soccer.
The business aspect of it.
And I'm like, $5 million for a soccer field? That's like a small stadium.
That's insane.
Yeah. And I'm like, 5 million buckaroonies?
That's a lot.
Okay. And they're like, we're passing out baskets for you to donate cash and checks. And then you can also donate via the QR code on the screen. And then the QR code on that screen over there is for your stocks and your bonds. And I'm like, you can donate your 401 fucking K to this church?
That's our Goliath is crazy.
To use David and Goliath as a story to get your stocks and bonds and part of, your grandkids' inheritance.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was shocked. On top of that,
that is heartbreaking.
On top of that, I did some work for Live Nation for a while. Doing stage rigging like at White Oak and 713.
Oh shit, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. A lot of the tours have like 4x4 squares for LED walls, and that's what you see back there.
Mhm.
These LED walls. But they're movable, they're collapsible because you you got to put these on semi trucks and send
And
them
move
out.
them around, yeah.
Excuse me. This church had a permanently installed LED wall built into the fucking church.
Jesus.
And if it wasn't permanent, it was a temporary one that had been bolted together.
It was sturdy.
And made permanent.
It was sturdy.
It cost a lot of money. And on
Oh my
top of
God.
that, they had an LED floor.
Is this the dude that like wouldn't like? Is this fucking Joel Osteen or whatever his name is?
No, this is some other guy. I don't know who it is. This is the Woodlands Church. I think it's Kerry Shook.
I know who you're talking about,
I think,
dude.
I think that's the
look,
guy. You
we-
can't quote me on that. I could be wrong.
We have the internet, bro.
Oh my god, yeah, Woodlands Church. It's on like off of 242 in the Woodlands.
The Woodlands Church. I don't want to see the guy, man.
Yeah, and
Is he that Kane looking guy where he's bald and shit?
yeah.
Oh, it is him, bro.
Yeah.
Carrie and Chris Shook.
My god, yeah, and it broke my heart. And so they had an LED floor, like you could walk on it and everything. And so how I went to the church in the first place was I was working at Guitar Center, and I made friends with this one guy who was buying like Gibson SGs and vintage tube amps and stuff. And I like vintage tube amps and SGs and stuff. So I'm talking with him, and we actually became friends. And he's like, yeah, I play professionally at the Woodlands Church. I play guitar there. I was like, oh, cool. And he's like, yeah, you should come check it out. And I was like, okay, cool. He's like, yeah. After the service is over, just come up and I'll show you all my gear that I use. And I'm like, oh, cool. So after the service was over, I can go up to the stage, and each one of these players is playing professional grade equipment.
Oh man.
He's rocking that Gibson SG, and he's got like a $4,000 pedal board and a $2,000 tube amp.
This is expensive, bro.
The LED floor, the drums like some half Ludwig, half Tama with Sabian and Zildjian crashes and rides,
Jesus.
and the bass player's playing a vintage Fender P bass,
If you had to add up all the equipment on the stage, what do you reckon?
including the stage lighting.
Yeah.
$6 million.
For
$5
real?
million.
Holy fuck. I guess the stage
Yeah,
and shit
so
like that.
on top of that, I have an associate's degree in live entertainment technology, and I had to take tons of lighting, tons of troubleshooting for lighting and audio systems, audio. There was millions of dollars worth of equipment and lighting and audio in this arena, this miniature arena.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost like
This isn't an auditorium. This is a fucking, you know what I mean? This is a huge.
I mean, it had auditorium seating. I mean, they could have upgraded that. I mean, you could get probably, leather recliners at that point, Tax write-off, dude. If Kerry Shook's listening,
I
leather
closed them out,
recliners.
but yeah.
leather recliners, bro. But yeah, all that
I
stuff.
think his name's Chris though.
Chris Shook?
I think Carrie's his wife, no?
Kerry?
It says Carrie and Chris.
Apparently my mom went to high school with him.
What?
I think he's like my uncle's age.
What kind of font is that? Jesus.
I don't know. I can't read it.
Carrie and Chris Shook. I bet he's Chris Shook. She's
Oh.
Carrie?
Maybe.
Maybe the opposite way. Who knows?
But yeah, all that stuff turned me
I'm
off.
looking at it right now. Holy fuck.
Turned me off from American Christianity and all the Protestantism and all that. And
The business aspect of it.
it was the business aspect, the idea that not anybody could agree on anything. Churches were splitting up left and right. Like the United Methodist Church was the church that I had, grown up in, and they couldn't even decide on the whole gay marriage thing. And they split into two different churches because they couldn't agree on gay marriage.
They
They're
just separated.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, you can do that. And I was just like, all right, something is missing, because I still felt that agnostic hole in my life, and I was so upset about like stocks and bonds. Really? Cool. And I was like, all right, what's the oldest church out there? And it's like the Orthodox Church. I was like, okay, cool. And it was so weird. I knew about this Orthodox Church for a while, and I knew exactly where it was because I had driven past it like every day to go to band practice with, the old lineup.
Mhm.
And I knew it was there. And I was like, yeah, whenever I go to church again, I'll check out that Orthodox church. Well, out of all the days, I had this insomnia episode where I just could not sleep. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to church because it was a Saturday night. And it was like Sunday morning at like 3 a.m. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go to church in the morning. I'm going to get up early. I'm going to go. And I'm going to go to that Orthodox church. I'm going to see what's up. Because they're not like Catholics and you don't have to, you know, worry. I know you're Catholic.
Oh no, it's all
but
good, dude.
You don't have to worry about the whole child touching
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. We don't have to worry
and-
about like pastors getting relocated and shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I've never heard of a Greek Orthodox monk getting locked up for.
Oh, that's yeah. No, that's one of the reasons why I'm like more agnostic, to be honest with you, of anything.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'll check out this Greek church, and I drive down there, and I expect to just walk in and just be totally lost, and nobody's gonna help me. And I walk in, and they're like, "Hey, how's it going? You're new here. Like, do you know like what's up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've just sort of wanted to come to an Orthodox service and see what was going on." And they're like, "Okay, cool, yeah. So if you walk down there, we're gonna send someone out there to sort of walk you through the service." And so this dude about my age, his name's Ethan, came up to me and he's like, "Hey man, I'm Ethan, and yeah, this shit can be kind of weird." And that was exactly what he said to me. And he's like, "Just play along and everything will be cool." I'm like, "Okay, dude." So I went through the whole motions of the service.
What year would this be, if you don't
This
mind
was
me?
last year. This was
Last
June.
year. Okay.
9 months ago.
Coming up on
Like,
a year.
Almost to the day. Like tomorrow will have made 9 months exactly.
Okay.
June 23rd. Fucking remember the day. Because it was Pentecost Sunday in the Orthodox Church where the Holy Spirit comes down into the apostles after the resurrection. And it was weird because it was that morning at 3 a.m. where a lot of Christians would say the Holy Spirit came down on me and told me to go to church. And after that service, I went and spoke to the deacon for like 2 hours about all my problems with Christianity.
Wow.
Everything about the stocks and bonds
everything
shit.
about the
Everything that I had believed about Christianity and everything had been taught wrong, in my opinion. Because for 2,000 years, there has been a consistent church in Greece and Syria, Palestine, Russia until the 1900s when the Soviets killed them all and burned down the churches and monasteries. That's a different story. But yeah, they survived Soviet persecution. Like Vladimir Putin's a Christian.
Jeez.
But all throughout the East, there's Orthodox Christianity that's been unchanged, literally unchanged for 1,300 years. And only the changes were slightly altered over 700 years, with the first like changes only happening in like 380 for like slight words to make sure that everybody was on the same page about slight words. And that was all they fought about. But they would always come together and agree on stuff. And then in 1054, the Pope, after like 200 years of arguing with the rest of the patriarchs in the East, he's like, "Yeah, I want all the power because I'm in Rome. I have the seed of St. Peter. I am the Pope. I am infallible. And I am above all the other bishops." And all the other bishops were like, "No, you're not, dude. That's not fair."
Very elitist of Mr. Pope.
Yeah, so then the Pope is like, "Yeah, well, guess what? You all are all out of the church." And they're like, "How can you kick the rest of us out of the church? In fact, we kick you out of the church." And that's how the Roman Catholic Church became. So technically, the Eastern Orthodox Church is a relatively recent term, because up until 1054, it was just the church.
It was just church.
Just the church. One cohesive unit. And it wasn't until the Pope wanted all the power. And
here's where things kind of,
Yeah.
the separation kind of thing. What the hell?
Yeah, so then the Catholics branch out from, the other patriarchs of the church. And that church continues on in this present day. And there's one right down the road from your place.
Yeah, apparently there's one like super close to me.
Yeah, I didn't even know until I drove by here. I'm like, "Oh, cool." Yeah, I saw the cross because the cross is different than other crosses.
How are you liking it so far, man?
My life has changed. Like I said, I was completely agnostic and I had no idea what the fuck was going on. And now I have
a path.
And on top of that, there's so much mysticism within Eastern Orthodoxy that is not touched upon at all in Protestantism. And people would be like, "That's heresy. You can't talk about that." Or, I mean, like the whole thing about giants and archaeology and all that. Like you see so many people saying, "Oh, there's no giants in archaeology. There's never been unearthed giants. That's just not true." Well, yeah, it's not true. There've never been, 12-foot tall giant humans,
Right, right. Just walking around.
half god. That's actually a translation problem.
Mm.
The giant the There's a lot more to it, but giant is essentially, it means a different thing in the ancient Aramaic. It essentially means someone evil.
Like a giant, like almost like a
Giant. Like it wasn't ginormous, it was giant, evil.
big evil.
So the Goliath giant, going back to the David and Goliath thing, in the ancient Hebrew that it was written in, it claims that he was like 9 feet tall. That's kind of tall. For ancient. But if you read the ancient Greek,
he could dunk.
Yeah. The ancient Greek says that he's only 6.5 feet tall. So if you read in ancient Hebrew, is a lot harder to read numbers because the numbers are like vowels, and the vowels can also mean a word. So like whenever you're reading numbers in Hebrew, it's really tricky. But in Greek, it's a lot more cut and dry. So in Greek, it says that he's 6.5 feet tall. So 6.5 feet tall would be a tall, strong spec ops warrior in the ancient Bronze Age. And it's not really out of the question because the average height was like 5.5 feet
back then,
tall.
especially.
5.5 feet tall was tall in the Bronze Age. So if a dude with gigantism in the Bronze Age, he'd probably be 6.5 feet tall. And that checks out from a scientific standpoint and everything.
From a logic, everything.
But all that translation stuff is lost.
There's where everything gets messed up.
Yeah. And then people will die by the fact that giants existed. The world's 6,000 years old. Like, even like the oldest church, the Orthodox Church, teaches that, I don't know how old everything is. At the beginning of my study Bible, it states that, all of the saints and the church fathers believe that Genesis is just, it's should all be taken metaphorically. Because it's an Iron Age book written about prehistoric times in the Bronze Age. So you've got tons of time separated. And you got to think of everything from a metaphorical and a spiritual sense for the first 5 books of the Old Testament. In fact, every priest or father I've talked to about all this just says, to the beginning Christian or the person truly interested in what Christianity truly is, skip the Old Testament. Just go straight to the Gospels and just read the New Testament and go from there, because then you'll understand more about what it's like to be a Christian. It'd
be better like a comprehension for them to just skip that aspect of it.
Yeah, because then you go back to the Old Testament and then you read everything and it's like, oh, so Jesus sort of did away with all of this Levitical law, which is where people get the idea that homosexuality is a sin and stuff like that. The whole idea about sin in the first place is wrong, because sin is not some sort of justice or judicial system, and sin is not a crime. Sin is rather illness within inside of you.
Within yourself.
Within yourself. The things that eat you, your regret, that's sin. The things that you've done to hurt other people also hurt yourself. That is an illness within you. That is sin.
Like acts of malice and shit like that.
Yeah, that's sinful. So whenever you start thinking about sin as an illness, a behavioral illness from within you, and you start trying to lead a sinless life like Christ, and you stop thinking about it as, I'm going to get punished for this in the afterlife, things just start falling into place. And it's just an easier lifestyle. And I think that's why it works for like Buddhist monks, because they live the same sort of lifestyle. I mean, even if you don't buy into the whole religion and spirituality part of it, there's a lot of Eastern like spiritual thought like within Hinduism and Buddhism that's also reflected in Christianity. The best atheists I know are closer to real Christians than the people that I know for a fact go to church every Sunday in like some of these Protestant churches.
Damn, that's interesting.
some of my best friends are atheists and agnostic, and they've treated me better with more respect and dignity than some of my Christian friends.
Damn.
And that's the sad truth. Except for like within like my Orthodox church that I go to,
Yeah,
all
right,
the
right,
friends
right.
I've
Yeah,
made there.
exactly.
Oh my God, like the atheists and the Orthodox are almost the same
Mhm.
in that regard, with the respect and treatment of humanity.
And if I could ask you, how do you feel when you saw one aspect with like money wise,
Yeah.
religion being used in that aspect, but
Mhm.
when it's used to like for control, not necessarily like holy wars and shit like that, but just like very like
Megadeth.
what do you think about that, man? It's
What do you
used as it's used as a tool to like get
Yeah.
things done in terms of like power things.
Yeah. So what do you mean? Of course.
I'm saying, how do you feel about it though? Is there like some conflict there? Is it kind of like just kind
It's
of
evil. It's
yeah,
of the devil, as one would say.
Right,
I mean,
right,
it's not good. I mean, it's evil. Any sort of control. I mean, the whole idea about free will is we can choose to do good and we can choose to do evil. What do you want to do with your life?
hmm
I mean, that's like my whole thing. You know?
yeah. Choices at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I do get bummed out because I have like family members who are super like they're not really like they're on their good behavior wise, you know what I'm saying? They go to church, they like take care of their family, they make sure everything's like in line. They don't really do wrong on anyone, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see like these other figures that are representing that religion kind of like just do all this evil shit, it's kind of like
Yeah. No, it's
it puts like a bad taste in your mouth, you know what I mean? Because it's like, Jesus, this is
Mhm.
like, is this a business at the end of the day? Is this just like a power kind of like scaling kind of thing?
back when I was very agnostic. I thought about opening my own church. I was just
Yeah.
like, dude, fuck it. I'm gonna tax write-offs. I can get a worship
Aw,
band. I
man.
can get all the JBL Vertex systems I
Mhm.
want for redonkulous. I mean, like
It's such an interesting thing, man.
you can make millions of dollars in that. But at the end of the day, you'd have people that are devoted to you, and then you'd have the people that see you for what you really are, and that's a piece of shit.
I remember I went to one of my friend's funeral. One of my friends, he had like a funeral of a family member, and he invited me. I was like, yeah, man, I'd love to like be there to support you and stuff like that. And we're there, and then like each one's speaking. They're kind of like giving their testimony and stuff like that, just about the person and stuff. And then like another associate of the church. I don't know if he was like another preacher or what, but he rolls up, Cadillac, decked out, bro, like
Yep.
decked out. Comes out, he's like, "Oh, how you doing, brother?" Shaking people's hands, Rolex, rings, like cleaned up, and I was like, "Damn!" I was like, "Humble looks fly," but in my head, I'm like, "Does no one see this? Like, does no one see like what's going on here?" Like, he is like decked out in everything, with shoes, clothes, suits, everything was like on point.
You ever seen The Righteous Gemstones?
Oh, I heard it's a really good show, man. I haven't checked it out.
I watched the first episode, and this is even before.
Baby Billy, where the fuck is? I always see Walter Goggins
Yeah. Dude, I met this one girl. She was so into me. Beautiful, beautiful woman.
Shout out.
But she, in the face, she looked exactly like
Walter
Walter
Goggins?
And I couldn't.
Have you ever seen that image of him dressed like a woman from like
Yeah.
some role and stuff?
Yeah.
It was like that.
It was from Sons of Anarchy. Yeah, I love that show.
Mm.
Yeah. She was like a skinny redheaded version of that, and
Oh,
I was just
no.
like, I couldn't unsee it. And
You know what throws me off whenever you're with on a side topic, like whenever you're with a girl and then you see like a relative of theirs and they look like a male relative and you're kind of like, damn, you look kind of like your cousin a little bit.
Yeah, but I've always pushed that thought out because I'm like, that's fucking weird. Why would I think that? You know?
But it's when
Like,
you see the resemblance, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
that kind of family trait in all you guys, especially your cousin. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's a little off-putting, but
some people say I look like my mom, but really, like, I just look like a skinnier version of my dad.
okay.
And that's really what it is.
Was your dad? Did he also have long hair or no?
My dad had long hair until he went bald. Yeah,
That's one of my worst fears.
dude,
bro,
my dad
going
was in a
bald.
hair metal band.
What?
Yeah, he played bass in a hair metal band called Zachariah.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah, and then apparently he was in like this like little super group thing with what's his name? Calissa Dover, Eric Johnson.
Eric Johnson?
Yeah.
Damn.
And there's a tape floating around somewhere of them
Just
Eric
jamming
Johnson.
out.
Yeah. And I think Double Trouble as well. It was like all of them in like one room together.
How old's your father, if you don't mind me asking?
56.
56. Pretty young.
Yeah.
Pretty young. I think my dad is like,
Yes, he's 50. He will be 56.
my dad's like 51. Or 50, 51, I think. And then my mom's like about to be 50. She's like on the cusp of like turning 50 years old. She has to be like 49 or 48, I think.
I think my mom's 58. 59? Something like that.
Man, going bald though, that's one of my worst fears.
Yeah, me too, man. Everybody in my family was bald except for my mom's dad, my grandfather on my mom's side. Apparently,
Full head of hair.
if that person has hair, like your mom's dad, if he has hair, you'll have hair.
Okay.
But my my grandfather, he smoked 2 packs of cigarettes every day from the time he was 11.
Holy shit.
Died in his late 50s of lung cancer. Kept his hair even through chemo.
Damn.
I think I got a chance.
You got a chance.
I got a chance.
I'm cool with going gray. I don't mind going gray.
Yeah, going gray is fine. You
But
look like a cool cat with gray hair.
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
But bald is just not it. I feel like if I'm bald, I have to get ripped, bro. Straight
Dude,
up.
if I go bald, I have to grow out the beard, and I have to get jacked.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's almost like a unwritten
Otherwise,
rule.
you'll just look like a crackhead.
Otherwise, you look rough, bro.
Dude, I swear, not to get political or nothing, but Donald Trump would look awesome if he cut his hair, just shaved it bald, grew just a nasty goatee.
You think he could grow a goatee? I've never seen him with face hair. Now that I think
Dude,
about
if he
it,
had like a 5 o'clock shadow on the sides and then a goatee and just trimmed it up every
he just looks
morning.
like a hairy orange, just like a hairy like a hairy peel.
Dude, he'd look
like nuts. Because if he shaved his head, do you think his hair is real or not? Or what do you think?
He's got, I don't know about now, but at least at the time, he had the money to go do whatever he wanted with his body.
Yeah, not for sure.
Why he didn't get liposuction, I do not know.
I imagine him having he's having like a farmer's tan just on his skull. You know what I mean?
Why don't these billionaires, like until recently, why don't any of these billionaires work out?
I don't know.
They're all fat. Is it just because but they have like these personal chefs.
They could eat healthy.
Like if I was a billionaire and like I had everything I wanted, I had a yacht, and a dietitian and a personal chef, I'd be like, yeah, I want to eat good. I want to eat healthy. I want to eat straight from the farm, straight from the ranch.
We're going to Whole Foods every day.
No. You're a billionaire, dude.
Yeah.
You send someone to the farm to pick up the eggs.
You have to say fetch me.
Fetch me, peasant. Yeah, this is a new system we're living in. This is late stage capitalism.
Damn, that is true, huh? Because you look at a guy like Donald, and even Elon, and they're both kind of looking like crazy.
I don't want to get political.
I would have to.
That's like another thing is in the last 9 months since I've become very, very Christian, I've stopped caring about politics.
You kind of separate
for the most
yourself.
part.
I don't blame you, bro. It's very detrimental.
Worldly. Yeah. You can get so wrapped up and so involved in it where it consumes you. And then you don't think about anything else. And then it's like, okay, what did you really do to change anything?
Then you feel like, I don't know, man.
Like, I want to stop all these wars. It'd be great.
What could you do? You know what I mean? Like in the position where we're both in.
One of my buddies actually, this man needs a Netflix documentary. He was talking to Netflix about a documentary, actually. He has lived quite the life. He went off and fought in Ukraine for like 9 months.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
in like Kiev and shit, or what the fuck it's called.
He fought in like some of the first battles there, like in like Kharkiv. He sporadically he would get internet access again, like whenever he would come back, because he would be like out on the front lines for a period of time. Then he would come back,
dude. And when they're bombing over there,
dude, he can't go
it's
to
like
concerts
a fucking
anymore. He can't go to concerts.
That's heartbreaking.
He went off to Mexico to raise jaguars. So he said he was gonna fight till the end. He's like, I will fight until Russia's pushed back to Moscow. And he said that. Now, that didn't really happen. He ended up leaving for some reason after like 9 months or something. And he left Ukraine and he came back. And then I talked to him. And then he tried to get me to invest in some Bitcoin mining thing. And I'm like, nah, dude, I don't just have 10 grand to give you for a Bitcoin mining rig. Like, sorry, bud. Not going to invest.
Right.
I got to pay off my car.
You got things to do.
Yeah. So He's like, all right, yeah, I feel you, man. All right, yeah, I'll catch you later. And all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, he's like, I'm in Mexico. I have a house, and here's a baby jaguar. And he starts raising these baby jaguars.
Jesus.
And he was doing that for a while, and I think now
And
he's
flipping
back in
them,
the
right? I have to
States.
imagine he's flipping the baby jaguars. Like he sells them. No, he's just keeping them.
Nah, he had like a TikTok called like Mowgli the Jaguar King or something.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and if you scroll even further down, he still has some of his Ukraine videos from when he was
Damn.
fighting in Ukraine.
Damn, what the hell?
Yeah, so I mean, like this guy's a real deal Holyfield. Like
That sounds documentary worthy, to be honest with you.
guys lived a crazy life. He was also a merchant marine, so like not Navy, not Coast Guard, like
Merchant Marine.
yeah, merchant marine.
What does that entail?
He's pretty much like government security for like shipping.
Mm.
So sort of like the Coast Guard, but they go into like international waters, like, you know, to protect against like pirates and stuff.
That could steal their shit.
Yeah. So he was like assigned to like a cargo ship, and like he
Mm.
just went back and forth for a while.
It's kind of like the
I think that's what he's doing again. I think he joined the Merchant Marines again.
I'm trying to think what the fuck is it called. It's like those dudes that like on like GTA where they drop off money and shit like that. They got the money trucks. You know what I'm talking about? Like at ATMs and stuff.
Yeah, like Maersk. No,
Uh-huh.
it's not like that. It's like the Coast Guard. I mean,
Mhm.
it's almost like a branch of the military.
Merchant.
Come on,
Marine.
Google, like you
Yeah,
said.
we got Google. Let me fucking.
It's the exact definition. Like, what are the I mean, I was in the Navy. I should probably know this,
The
but
Merch Marine, bro.
I was in the Navy, and I also was not in the Coast Guard, and I never had to deal with merchant marines because.
How long were
know,
you over there?
I was in the Navy for 2 years because, like I said, I broke my
Oh
back.
yeah. Merchant Marine.
Yeah, what is a merchant marine?
The civilian maritime industry that transport cargo and sometimes passengers, operating ships on domestic and international waters, and is not a branch of the military, though it plays a vital role in national security and economic interests.
Yeah. So that's what he does now.
Oh,
Yeah, he's got like uniforms and everything like it.
my man's trained up. Then he's trained.
Yeah, which is why he got assigned to like the frontline units of the Ukrainian International Legion, which is interesting because he wasn't in the Navy, he wasn't in the Coast Guard, he was in the Merchant Marines, and they threw him with like some Spec Ops Ukrainian unit, which is
Jesus.
weird. Maybe they're like a Texas boy. Texas boy, he shoot gun at 4 years old. He come out with Colt 45
Come,
and come. We fight Mother Russia.
dude. I remember I follow this dude Craig Jones who's into jujitsu.
Yeah.
And he, for whatever reason, was doing like not seminars, but he'd go to Ukraine and just kind of visit and kind of see like what the fuck is going on over here.
Yeah.
Multiple times he was on Instagram Live, like, guys, they're totally bombing. Guys, we were about to evacuate, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Dude, he didn't have a rifle or a
no,
bulletproof vest for
I think
long
they
time.
had like I think they had bulletproof vests. That's about it.
He showed up right at the beginning. Like as soon as they called, they're like, "We need international volunteers to help fight Russia." He's like, "All right, I'm out."
And he
Like
dipped.
he was in Poland like within like
What do you think?
3 or 4 days. It was fast.
What do you think like led him to make that decision?
Young man, blood,
Young man, fight
DNA.
Russia.
played too much Call of Duty.
He was about it, man. How old is he? Or how do you?
It's like my age, 27, 28.
He just like fuck it, we're gone.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Which
Very
is
sporadic.
crazy, yeah.
I
Like
don't
I
know.
thought my decision to join the Navy was sporadic, like punk rocker dude from suburbia,
In
joining the
Navy, it's
military.
kind of a yeah.
Dude, all my friends were like, "Are you sure? What are you talking about?"
Mhm.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna do it. All right, man. Whatever you say.
How quick do you think you made the decision? Just
Dude, I woke up. So I was smoking a blunt with this one dude, and this one dude was one of the. I hate to say this, but he was one of the most unintelligent people I've ever met. And I was just sitting there thinking, what am I doing with my life? I gotta do something better. I'm stuck. I can't find a job. I can barely pay rent. Maybe I should just join the military because I'd already tried college. I had already gone to a trade school where I had done audio engineering, but I didn't have a portfolio or nothing.
right.
I was just sort of stuck. I didn't have any money for school at that point, and I didn't want to go on student loans and pay that off until I was 100. So I was like,
Ugh.
screw it, just go join the Navy.
Damn.
Yeah. Just didn't really feel like I had any other choice. So that's what I did. And I came out of it, the broken back. So that was fun.
You had to sacrifice your back, bro.
Yeah, it happens, dude. It's all good. It happens for some greater plan. I mean, this ties back into, the whole spirituality
Yeah.
thing. I I didn't realize because it ate at me for so long. I was before I came to God, I was not a very good person. Like I didn't really treat people very well. Like I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, my attitude towards life wasn't very bright or good towards anything, anybody, or I mean, I was always bitching about something, whether it was my back or the VA or the Navy or my
Glass half
ex.
empty. Glass
Yeah,
half empty
it's
kind of
always
guy.
glass half empty, dude. And it was just like miserable, and you know, I was just so tired of living that way. And it wasn't until much after I joined the church. I mean, even after joining the church, that was just the first step. It was realizing my wrongs and coming to terms that I had to correct them in some way. Like the idea of repentance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just saying sorry because let's face it, all the people you've ever hurt in your life, they've heard you say sorry. Sometimes you've done the same thing over and over again, and they've heard you say sorry for all sorts of different things, sometimes more than once. The best thing you can do is be like, "Holy shit, dude, this is not a way to live.
Mm.
I'm actually going to change my ways and think about everything different because, I was thinking about myself for so long." And once I started realizing that and I started correcting things and I started actually like reaching out to people I had hurt that I had like burned bridges from, and I'd be like, "Hey, I'm sorry," or I didn't even say sorry. I did not apologize. I said, "Hey, I was this way, this way, this way, and this way. Like, what can I do to make it right? Is there anything I can do to make it right?" Some people are like, "Yeah, no, I just you reaching out and just admitting that, like, that's enough for me, dude. Keep doing you."
Did you have anyone that was kind of like
Yeah, my
non-responsive or
yeah, but
just?
I'm not even gonna say who it was
All right.
because they might be listening to
I
this,
got you.
and
I got you. I got you.
I'm just gonna let them be because yeah, I'm just gonna let it be.
Got you.
They didn't say nothing to me, in fact, which is fine. They have every right to. But it was only two people.
Got you.
So I'm fine with it. Everybody else, like, they were just like, that means a lot, and like that felt good knowing that like I had cleared those wrongs.
Mm-hmm. You cleared that from yourself.
Yeah. We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
You were talking about You were
I
talking
was
about.
not talking about shit. No, I was talking about shit. What was I talking
What were you saying, man? You were saying that like you were cleaning yourself from.
about?
like,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff,
yeah, yeah. Clean my side of the street,
Not for sure.
I
Got you. That's better.
repented.
Uh-huh.
There was some deeper meaning, like back of that first right hand turn we took, and we had a destination, and we ended up at Jack in the Box. Fast food philosophy.
Jack in the Box, dude. Are you a big fast food person?
Am I what?
A big fast food person?
Not anymore, no, dude. I try to eat very clean, very healthy.
Are you
for the most
vegan
part.
or
I'm vegan
pescatarian?
during Lent and before Christmas, and every Wednesday and Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I've been trying to fast a little bit more, man.
Yeah, it's fasting is a form of prayer.
I like it. At like 9:15, I'll kind of stop.
Doing like, what kind of fasting are you doing though?
I don't know if it'd be called intermittent. It's like it'd be like from 9 p.m. to like 12
Now,
in the
are you
afternoon.
just like not eating, like starving yourself?
Nah, I'll drink water.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll drink water. That's about it though.
Hardcore stuff.
16-hour fast.
So when I say I fast, the definition of fasting within the religious connotation is much different. So unless like you're like a hardcore monk who's like sitting in a cell praying all day and eating bread and water, like most like Palestinians or Syrians or Greeks, Russians, they'll fast on Wednesdays and Fridays. And what that is essentially they're just giving up meat. Like you can still eat fish and for the most part, most days. Shrimp, crawfish, that sort of thing.
Okay.
You just don't eat meat, eggs or dairy, really. So you're just vegan. And
For like 2 days out the week.
For 2 days out of the week, and then on top of that, like it's tradition that like after sundown, after the sundown worship or prayer service at around 5-6 o'clock, Fast is over. You can eat normal again.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's like it's not super hardcore, and people, dude, there's some denominations of American Christianity that are just like so hardcore, and it's like not even the ancient church is like that stringent on things.
Where do you think that comes from? That kind of like
The
laying the law.
Puritans, the Puritans coming from England in the 1600s.
Made it that restrictive and that kind of like.
Yeah, that Puritan ideology of Puritan Christianity of we shall be pure and sinless. And the Puritan roots have just, they took hold in America first. And all the other Protestant denominations came later and intermingled. And now we've got thousands of different churches. And I mean, now you've just got non-denominational churches now that they don't believe in anything any other Christian thing believes in besides the basic tenets. And I guess that's fine if you actually believe that faith and like you live that faith. But like I said earlier, I don't see a lot of people living that faith. And,
Yeah, it's very difficult. You mentioned earlier just hopping on like Twitter and seeing like how insane it is at times.
Any social media now, dude. I mean, if you go follow me on whatever, you'll see that I don't post very often. And it's because it doesn't really matter. Like, it matters. Like, it's the only way people are going to really find my music or anything is through social media or through these algorithms. But that's all it is at the end of the day is an algorithm. And it's all chance, which is why every single creator or influencer out there who's like, how to level up your game, how to get more streams on
this is
Spotify.
it, the hack.
This is the algorithm hack for you in 2025. How to go viral with Instagram Shorts. And they say the same shit. Just keep posting and it'll take off.
Yeah, just keep posting.
And that's true. I mean, like, I've seen it with like my YouTube thing because like I didn't post anything on YouTube at all. But then I was like, I realized that there's like a couple music streaming apps that go through YouTube and they're like sort of like backdoor things for streaming.
Okay.
And there's like a lot of people that use these apps. And I'm like, I should get my music to them. And people use YouTube just to listen to music anyways.
Just to listen to music for the most part,
so
yeah.
like, I should just upload my music to YouTube. And so I spent like a day and a half or 2 days just taking all of my music, putting the album art on top of the music in Adobe or Premiere Pro or whatever. And I just set every song every week. And it just
so is it like
grown.
is that like that topic shit where it'd be like Green Day topic and stuff like that?
No, that comes from like your distributor or like your record label or however you've got your distribution set up. No, that's like your actual YouTube channel goes because for some reason the topic that's all tied to like YouTube music.
It's just there as well, yeah. It's just like
yeah, it's just there. I really don't know how it really works.
Neither do I. It's always kind of reminded me of like Vivo. Remember how everyone had a Vivo back in the day? Like everyone.
No idea how that worked. I'm sure there's a documentary out there.
I would love to know because I was just like, what is this shit? Why the fuck? And then I would get confused with Vivo and then the TV brand Vizio.
Yeah.
And I thought there was some kind of link there. I was like, God damn, these motherfuckers everywhere.
No, the whole internet in like that time period, like 2008 to like maybe even a little bit earlier. I don't know. Vivo was about 08.
Yeah, Vivo would be like 08.
Yeah, 08 to like 15, 16.
What's like your first internet memory? You hop online for the first time. What are you looking at? Or what did you look at?
Probably like Disney.com or something.
Yeah, like a website, just like a video. I think I looked up like Dragon Ball Z highlights or some shit or wrestling.
No, I was like on the computer with my parents. My mom had like a website and was like doing like coding at some point. She does not know how to code. I don't know how she set up her website. To this day, I don't know how. I don't think she paid anybody, but she had a website in like the early 2000s.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I mean, I saw my mom do that shit.
Mine would be like, I just remember seeing my cousin like burn CDs and shit, just totally like illegally downloaded some music, allegedly.
Yeah, once I was in like the 5th and 6th grade, I started like really like using the internet and like, you know, OG YouTube.
The Wild West.
The Wild West, man.
It had movie. I remember seeing Friday like in different parts. It was like Friday 1995 with like 1 through 25 and
1
shit.
1 through 28, dude.
Yeah.
I watched all the Everybody Hates Chris on YouTube. It was like season 1, episode 1, all the way
Dude,
to.
because it was legit the Wild West. There was
Yeah.
so much shit on there that was just like, what is this? What's going on?
It was the only place you could find some of like these old films. That's how I fell in love with film, dude, and old films and stuff. Like, what's the name of that? It's like Strange Brew.
Okay.
It's about this magic beer.
Strange Brew.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar, low key.
Yeah, I can't find it anywhere on any streaming service, or I couldn't like a decade ago.
Look it up, bro.
But
See how it
it
looks.
it still might not be on streaming services. But
Strange Brew. What
Brew,
year?
this is
We
like
talking?
70s, 80s,
Strange Brew. Oh, this one?
90s, is it 90s, 80s,
83. 83.
Yeah, is it streaming anywhere yet?
I
Like
think it
Tubi
said
probably
Tubi,
at this point?
dude. Tubi
Yeah.
for free. Or like
Okay.
ads, I think.
It's about like beer. I mean, it's like a goofy comedy movie from like the 80s, but like for years you couldn't find it anywhere because it wasn't really that great, you know? But
Yeah,
it's like a cult classic film.
Mhm.
This is about beer.
Yeah, it kind of. It's funny you were talking about movie because I've been really recently getting into like I have a hard drive. This one
Pirated films.
allegedly, but I have a bunch of shit on there, and like some of these files are from like when I was in high school or middle school. They're old as fuck. But I was looking through them and I'm like, damn, I have a lot of movies on here, and I'm like, I haven't really bought a Blu-ray in so long. I
Yeah.
bought one recently, but like overall, it has been like years since I bought one.
You know, You're Tearing Me Apart, Lisa. Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Mark.
I have that film.
The Room.
Yeah, I own a copy of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know they do screenings. Like I forgot where the fuck it is, but they do like almost monthly screenings in that movie.
Yeah, they do. I've wanted to go to one, but I only want to go to one with Tommy Wiseau. A lot of these screenings are just sanctioned by Tommy Wiseau, and he's been doing them via Zoom since like
Oh,
COVID.
I don't like that.
Yeah, he
don't
was
like
doing
that.
like during COVID. He's like, well, we can watch The Room together.
The funniest shit when I first looked at that movie, because I remember seeing the memes like, "Oh hi, Mark" and shit. He sounds crazy.
If you buy a copy of The Room from his website or from Amazon, that's where I got mine. It's on fucking Amazon, dude. But it's still attached to him, so he's running the Amazon store. He'll send you a copy of The Room, and inside there's a headshot of his,
Really?
and on the back of it, it's Tommy Wiseau underwear. You can buy boxer briefs, like
That's what
tidy
you said.
whities.
Underwear. Holy shit.
Yeah,
what the
he
hell?
sells underwear, dude, and you can fill out this like mail-in form and check off what size you want.
Is it like room related or more like just Tommy
It's
Wiseau?
just like instead of Tommy Hilfiger, it's Tommy Wiseau.
It's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah,
What an interesting character, man. I didn't see The Disaster Artist. I didn't watch it. It was
It-
about the making of the
it's
movie.
pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's
it out.
it's neat to see the Disaster Artist before and after, actually,
Hmm.
because that film is just so wild.
It's like a fever dream.
From a cinema point of view, from the entire thing is overdubbed.
Yeah. I don't know who did the audio, but I fucking didn't do a good job because they like. I don't know what happened there. Did they
Well,
not have mics
Tom-
there, like live
no,
mics?
he was so quiet and he stuttered through a lot of his performances.
Yes.
They would take cuts that were okay, and then they would force him to say it into a microphone later in post
They had to.
because it was just terrible.
It is bad. If you've never seen The Room, I highly recommend watching it. It's very.
So you've seen it?
I've seen it. Yeah.
It's great.
It's such a meme. Like him playing. Don't they jump on a bed or some shit like that? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, the
movie.
whole thing's weird. The whole film is strange.
Some
It's-
like neighbor kid comes over or some shit like that.
no, that's their kid, I
Oh,
think.
for real? I
I don't
don't
know.
really
The whole
remember
thing's
details.
a metaphor. I mean, you can watch it and just
Oh,
be
hi,
like,
cats.
wow.
And he's just touching the cat as he leaves the store.
Hi, doggy.
Hi, doggy. Hi, doggy. I remember looking up, I don't know if this changed, but they probably have the information now. But I remember seeing that Wikipedia didn't even have like a birthday for him or like a location of where he was born.
Nobody knows.
Some luchador shit. That's crazy.
One day it'll be revealed.
That's what I'm saying. If you had a guess though, where's Tommy from? Europe?
Well, I think he's probably from Louisiana. I think he's probably. I mean, he's got the thick Cajun accent. I mean, but
Oh, I guess so, huh?
I think he was involved in some sort of car accident. Whether he was hit by a car, he has some sort of head injury. Or maybe I have one. Head injury. I still can't say it. Head injury,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why he has all that money.
Oh.
And that's why he sort of has the time dilation problem.
Because he looks crazy in that movie.
He looks
like
crazy
like
in the
when he
movie.
like is delivering his lines, it's almost like his eyes are like halfway closed, kind of shit. Like he's like
Yeah, he's not entirely
like-
there, but he is. So that's why I think because like, being in the Navy, and after breaking my back, I went to the naval hospital, and I met a couple guys with head injuries, and they weren't nearly that bad.
mm,
Like, so like I don't think he's like special disabled, yes, but I think it's because of like an actual traumatic event. Like something really bad happened to the guy. I don't know what it was. I mean, you can speculate all you want, but
yeah. I'm not sure if they'd
I
ever reveal it.
it'll probably come after he passes. Something will get disclosed. Somebody will do some investigation. And
He
find out.
disappears and then pops up, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I totally forgot about this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, exactly.
I totally forgot about Tommy White. I don't know. Is he still cool with his boy, the one that helped him make it?
I'm sure.
The Seth Rogen character, whoever the fuck it was.
Yeah, I'm sure they're still cool.
I'd hope so. It was such a ridiculous, it's just that movie's crazy.
I think the Disaster Artist definitely made it seem a lot more dramatic than it really was.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
biopic.
You gotta
it
play
was
it up.
James Franco and his brother Dave. I mean, tell me some of that wasn't just sibling rage.
It could just be like some fucking. They could also just be riffing, to be honest with you, just to
It's
like.
that, yeah, sibling rage, riffing, just having fun, having a good time. I mean, you got to think it's a film. It was made to put asses in cinema seats.
You mentioned earlier film. We're talking about film right now, but what were some of your favorite movies? Not in order or anything like that,
Man.
just like your go tos.
Anything Tarantino, dude.
Okay.
Jackie Brown.
Jackie
baby.
Brown's the shit, bro.
Love Jackie Brown.
Woo, that's
Dude,
the
that
shit.
soundtrack, dude. Bobby Womack, dude.
Dude, Max Cherry, R.I.P. Man, he's fucking awesome. What a good movie.
I love.
That might be his best, man. No bullshit.
Yeah.
Because there's no fat to it. There's no anything. It's just straight like.
It is a Tarantino masterpiece.
It's really good.
You can watch it over and over again, and you'll see something new in it
Mhm.
each time. You're like, huh, I didn't notice that.
De Niro's character.
De Niro's character, like, I think I've seen every Tarantino film. Like,
I feel like I've
7, 8
met. That's why I love
times.
Tarantino, because I feel like I've met these characters, like in not exactly, but in certain aspects, you're like, yeah, I know.
I know a Jackie
Yeah.
Brown. I know a Max Cherry.
Mhm.
Dude, you can even be like, I know a Django. I know a guy who's just beating the odds.
Mhm.
Like
I've definitely met some
what's it-
Vincent and
Christoph
Jules and shit.
Waltz.
Oh, in Inglorious.
In Inglorious Bastards and in Django Unchained, he plays a yin and yang of the same character. You've got the dark side German Nazi
Mhm.
SS Jew hunter. Like that's his name.
That's his
It's
name, the
hunter.
Jew Hunter.
And this evil German man who takes the racism and uses it to justify what he's doing.
Mhm. Almost like a
Evil.
sport.
E-
basically.
yeah. And then in Django Unchained, you have another German, also an intellectual, because they're both very, very smart, also an intellectual. And he's not a racist. And he actually uses the race card that everybody else is racist to both of their benefit.
Mhm.
And the way that those characters are written,
Super like progressive. Super like yeah.
And it's really cool to be able to see the
He killed it in both, bro.
the
Jesus
the
Christ, he killed it in
dialectics,
both.
I guess you could call it, of those two characters.
Mhm.
And it shows the duality of humanity. You can choose to do good, you can choose to do bad. And then Leonardo DiCaprio's character
Oh my
in
goodness.
Django Unchained shows how even sophistication and education is like at the time within that, Southern white Democrat society of the South, very, very racist. They truly
Yeah.
believed, like, the bumps on the head, how
The
big your skull was.
the grooves in the skull and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, it's crazy.
It is crazy. It's like like one of the rare times you see DiCaprio full blown villain, full blown like
Yeah.
ruthless motherfucker. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, just evil. And you saw it in the beginning and you're like, I could kind of like this guy. And then you saw it a little bit more. You're like, oh, this is actually like the bad. I don't like him no more.
I like the aspect of like Samuel L. Jackson almost being like the puppeteer, kind of like directing them here and there. Like, are you fucking? Do you see what's going on here?
Yeah,
Like they're
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
play us, and he's too dumb to know. He didn't even know, bro. He was gonna ready to take that deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, they played it off.
Dude, what a good movie. Nah, Tarantino's a beast, bro.
He's only gonna make one more.
Yeah, I don't know what it was gonna be. The Critic, but he changed it now. It's gonna be something else. I'm not sure what it is.
I don't know. He literally just sits down and writes a book. Like he writes a book before he writes the movie.
Yeah,
At least nowadays. I don't know how he did it back in the Goodfellas day. Or not Goodfellas.
like Pulp Fiction and shit,
Yeah, Pulp Fiction.
or Reservoir Dogs.
Oh yeah, yeah, Reservoir Dogs. That's what I'm thinking of.
It's another really good movie, man.
Yeah, dude. That one's a trip because you are hoping for a good ending.
yeah, no, exactly.
I mean, spoiler alert. It's not exactly a
Yeah,
good
it's
ending.
not really a good ending.
But yeah.
It's like a calamity almost. A lot of his movies are calamities where like just shit goes wrong, like just keeps going like down more, a spiral of like bad shit happening.
People who don't like the Hateful Eight don't like Reservoir Dogs.
Mhm.
Yeah, they don't like that movie because they're so similar.
Yeah,
Reservoir Dogs and the Hateful Eight. It's just a different
the
calamity.
ending as well, huh? Holy
Yeah,
shit.
the ending is super similar. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Another movie with the dualities.
Mhm. What would you say, man? Would you say Jackie Brown's your favorite? From Taron, from QT?
I like Django Unchained. I like.
As cliched it is, bro, I'm not gonna like Pulp Fiction's very fucking nice. Like I could just throw that on at any time, just watch it.
Yeah,
Visually, it's just on point. It just looks, it's so like well done.
I like Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown's the one, yeah. Soundtrack, like you said, it's
Death Proof. You seen Death Proof?
across. Death Proof's pretty good.
Death Proof.
Death Proof's fun.
You know how that was filmed?
No, I know the stunts are real. No, they're
The stunts are real. That is Zoe
that's
Bell.
Uma Thurman
is,
and shit. Yeah.
Zoe Bell is Uma Thurman's stunt double in Kill Bill. So she plays herself.
Oh
doing
yes.
this. They're actually going 75, 80 miles an hour with her on the hood.
Didn't she get fucked up from that? Didn't she get like a bad back or some shit or a bad something?
I don't actually know.
I think she got like some kind of slight injury from filming, from just the way they were doing it. Like,
no, that would not surprise me. Like that is a crazy thing. Because like the first part of the film, you're like, okay, it's kind of like a slasher, kind of creepy.
Mhm.
Like, you're like, what the hell am I watching?
Kurt Russell, fucking
Yeah, I do like the beginning of the film because of the cinematography of the film. The film he chose to film it on is cool. Like the way that he shoots everything within the beginning of the film. Because there's like 3 or 4 different types of film he uses throughout the entire Death Proof film.
No, that looks insane.
It looks insane because it was almost like an art piece. Because there's like 2 parts to the movie, and
Yeah, it is, huh? It's like
Yeah.
I forgot about that. It's like a first half and then like a second half.
yeah. So the first half you're like, what the fuck am I watching? And then the second half happens, and you're like, oh, this is what I paid for.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Man,
then the whole story just makes sense. Because
do you believe him when he says that the next one it's done? After that one, he's
Yeah.
retired. I don't know how old he is, but
I
makes
mean,
sense.
well, his thing is like he's got like a kid, like a little kid.
I don't even know.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to rush it and get it out of the way, but he also wants to like, raise his
Raise
kid.
his child, yeah.
And I think he still wants to write books. I know that. He says he might do like a TV show or a mini series or something one day,
That'd be sick.
but like he's going to be done making like films cuz he's been doing it since the 90s.
Mm.
His entire life has been dedicated to film and video.
Yeah, you got to think, man. 90, because that was Reservoir Dogs early 90s.
Yeah, like 90
90.
1, 2,
Look
3,
it up,
4.
but yeah, I think it has to be like 90.
No, Pulp Fiction was 94 or 95. So Reservoir Dogs had to be 90 or 91.
92.
92. Okay, so I was
92. 92, then 2. Damn, what a follow up Pulp Fiction. Jesus Christ.
Pulp Fiction in 94?
Yeah, let me see. Let me see related movies. Oh, there you go. 94. Yeah. Jackie Brown, 97. Hey, I was born 97.
Same.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you a big TV guy as well or not? Are you more into
Not
movies?
anymore. I mean, it's like the biggest thing is that most TV shows out there, the way that these shows are set up nowadays, there's no longevity of the people working on them for the most part, except for like the main, like, I mean, you got like The Simpsons and Family Guy and I guess Futurama. I mean, you got it's the same group
The
of
same
writers,
ones.
but it's all within animation.
Yeah.
You go look at like any of the modern streaming shows that come out, there's different writers, there's different directors, there's different producers. It changes from episode to episode, season to season. You've got this meandering story.
I was going to say, you think it's too many cooks in the kitchen?
Too many cooks in the kitchen. Not enough qualified cooks in the kitchen. And that's why TV TV shows like today just suck, man. I just can't get
Have you seen Severance?
I've heard it's
You
good,
should
but
really
like I
watch
can't
it.
sit down and watch a TV show because I'd rather be doing something else with my life, you know?
I got
Like
you.
I'd rather be making music or playing guitar or cooking. I love cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Uh I live a busy life. I mean, if I sit down and watch a film, it's a good day.
Mm-hmm.
I love film. I do watch them I watch probably about 2 or 3 movies a week.
Nice. Nice.
And I'm lucky to be able to do that. But yeah, most of the time I'm just playing music, working on my music, doing my thing. All this new stuff I've been working on is crazy different.
Yeah,
Because I mean, like I said, my whole life has changed in the last 9 months.
that is true, man. I was gonna ask you actually if you're that big life change that you went through, if it's gonna start, we're gonna start seeing it kind of creep into the music, or have we seen it already?
Well, short and kind of short. So like, let me break it down because I guarantee you most of the people listening to this, especially at this point, haven't heard my music ever, and this is like their first introduction to me. So hello.
Hello, you're a musician. We should say that.
I
yeah.
am a musician. I am a professional musician.
We just got right into
We got into the deep stuff.
We got into deep, low key. Yeah.
I'm a musician, guys. So everything I say, take with a grain of salt, because I just yell into a microphone and play power chords.
We did get pretty deep quickly, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean,
I think the trip to the balcony helped us out a little bit because we went that was a deep dive. That was nice though. That was nice. I feel like I felt educated from the conversation.
Good.
Yeah.
As one should. It means I'm doing my job. But yeah, so I'm a musician, and essentially, like, the way the Terrible Texan started was I came up. You want to know how I came up with the name? That's
For
normally
sure.
a question
Absolutely,
people ask.
yeah.
So I was driving between Houston and San Diego, where I was stationed in the Navy.
God
There's a
damn,
truck
that's
stop
far.
somewhere either east or west of El Paso. I know, very vague. There's a lot of land in between east and west of El Paso. But somewhere along there, either right in the panhandle, or not the panhandle,
Not the board.
like the whatever. Anyways, right around El Paso on I-10, there's a truck stop that says TTT. I'm like, what the hell could TTT mean? And I'm just thinking, and I'm like, maybe it could mean the Terrible Texan. I wonder what the fuck that is. Be kind of a cool solo band name, like Alice Cooper or Marilyn Manson or something like that. Keep that in the back of my mind. Year and a half passes, and I end up back here in Texas, and COVID strikes, and I'm going back to school again, and I start making music again, after my back surgery, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this Terrible Texan thing. I looked it up, and nobody had
it, eh?
There's like, if you look up the Terrible Texan on Google, now it's pretty much just me because I'm the only one.
I love that.
It was lucky.
That's awesome that you remember the name.
I mean,
you kept
it's
with it. You know what I mean?
memorable. It's alliteration. It's
The Terrible
basic
Texan.
psychology thing. People remember
TTT.
Triple T.
Triple T.
Yeah, the whole thing just goes together. It's
It does,
great.
dude.
But yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And I was just gonna do a studio thing. That was all I was gonna do. Just me in a studio making music for the homies. And that was all it was ever gonna be.
At that point, were you producing and mixing stuff?
Yeah, because like I had said earlier, I'd gone to a trade school, and I had gone to audio engineering trade school, and I had worked down on Nance Street at Studio 713, and I worked on a whole bunch of like hip hop records and stuff like that. And that's how I had gotten my start, was doing like hip hop records for the most part. And I'd gotten out of the Navy, and I had worked with somebody I had known in college part 1 who was part of the underground Houston rap scene. And I started producing and mixing for him for a while. But I've got a 4, almost 5-year-old daughter now.
Oh, congratulations. Hey, I don't know if it's congratulations. She's already old, but
yeah.
That's
And at
incredible.
the time, she was like 48 hours old. And I had gone to work to go make a quick buck and come back in the middle of the night, to do a session for someone. There's supposed to be nobody there. The studio was locked from the outside with a padlock. And I open it up and I step inside, and there's a guy there sitting at the computer. And I'm terrified because I'm like, holy fuck, there's a guy who's just sitting
Man,
at
who
the
the fuck
thing.
is that?
And I see a Glock sitting to his left and then like a bag of pills like right there. And I'm like, the fuck did I just walk in on?
Let's talk about Tarantino.
Yeah. And I'm like, yo, what's up? Who are you? Oh, yeah, bro, I'm Jamarcus or something. And I'm like, all right, bro, what's up? What's up?
Jamarcus.
How did you get in here? The door was locked from the outside. What's up? Like, does Breezy know you're here? Like, who are you?
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, everything's cool. And I called Breezy. I'm like, yo, who the fuck is this guy? You didn't tell me about this. It's 2:30 in the morning.
Jeez.
And there's some guy who's just chilling here,
Armed
with drugs. And there was more bullshit that happened that night too, because I had the client who was supposed to come, and then Breezy came to the studio, and then they started working on stuff. Everything got pushed back from 2:30 to 4:30, and
Ugh.
the whole thing was terrible. And I told Breezy, I was like, I'm done, bro.
Mm.
I'm done. See ya. I was like, my kid's not even a week old, and I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah, no, I mean, what the fuck, bro?
So I got out of that and didn't look back, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do my own music thing.
I've heard stories of that, man. I remember hearing the dude from the Gorillaz, Damon Albarn, the guy who's like the creator of the Gorillaz, and he was talking about like working with like Erykah Badu in like London, and they invited a bunch of people, and they were just like, yeah, we'll start recording at like 11. You know, we'll get to the studio at like 11, 12. She doesn't show up till like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And he's like, we just drank, and then we didn't start recording till like 6 in the morning. And we got done at like around 8. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's like, I was so sleep deprived.
That's like another thing, is that unfortunately bands are just, it's hard to keep one, especially in today's society with the way that everything works. It's hard. Like if there's a band that's really been together for a while, I mean, that's a blessing.
Mhm.
That's determination. That's
It's a friendship.
grit.
That's a lot of stuff.
I
yeah.
mean, bands like the Posers and like the Kiddos and Downkill. I mean, go check out all these bands because they've been together.
out.
They've been together for a couple years now. There's not really been drama or nothing like
Mhm.
that. I mean,
I've heard stories. I have a lot of friends that are musicians, and yeah, I've heard things where it's just like, this person doesn't even write. We're like waiting on this person. This person's having an existential crisis. We're
Yeah.
like, it's a bunch of shit
Which
where I'm just like,
brings us to the next chapter of Triple T. Is, you know, I'm going to school and I'm thinking that this is just going to be a thing I do on the side, you know, and
passion project almost.
yeah, exactly. And you know, me being a Navy guy, and at the time I was super political and, you know, always pissed at the government, Republican, Democrat, didn't matter what. I was just pissed off at the government because they weren't helping me none, and the only thing I was doing was paying taxes. So I
Right.
didn't care who was in power. I felt every 4 years I was getting screwed over by the same two groups of folks.
An elephant or a donkey.
Yeah, and I've talked about this, and I've talked about my very, very centrist, moderate beliefs a lot. So if you want to hear about that, go for it. I just sort of don't care about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so I was pissed off about Afghanistan, dude, because I had buddies of mine from the Navy who, you know, had gotten out of the Navy and had become government security contractors because it's an easy pipeline to go make money out in Afghanistan once you get out of the military. Even though I had a broken back, they were still hitting me up to be
Oh,
a security
shit.
contractor and go to Afghanistan for 7 months. They were still hitting me up to do that.
God
And I had to
damn.
reach out to them and be like, hey, I'm really not interested in this. Can you please stop sending me these emails?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to go. I mean, I didn't join the Army or the Marines, and I didn't become a SEAL, and I didn't do, you know, spec war stuff because I didn't want to fucking go do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Not me. I'm not going to go do that now. So I do have friends who went off and did that. I got one buddy. He's got a dope job. He's a private security contractor because he did do some crazy stuff with like the SEALs and the Marines and stuff within the Navy. And once he got out, he started doing his own private security contracting.
Okay.
And he does the private security for like National Geographic, like film and photo and
Oh, wow.
documentary teams. So he's gone to like Peru
He's there.
and he's like behind all the beautiful photos you see, especially in like Venezuela and some like the dangerous places.
Mhm.
There's usually like guys armed to the teeth
Damn.
right behind the photographers.
Holy
my buddy
shit! I never
Hunter.
knew that.
Huh?
I never knew that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. But he's like, yeah, sorry, I'm texting you back so late. I just came back from like Nicaragua.
What a job!
Yeah, and it's
What a
like
job.
sporadic, part time, but he gets like a salary
Hmm.
because it's just like on like, hey, we need you to go to France. Okay, cool, easy.
He's just
babe.
there, pieced up.
But he doesn't go to France. He goes to like the ghettos of Bangladesh, and
Holy shit!
Yeah, he-
Bangladesh is crazy. There's some crazy videos I've seen from there where I'm like, holy fuck.
yeah, he goes to the not nice places because that's what they pay.
'Cause that's
him
what they need him for. Yeah,
that's what they pay him for.
Did
Yeah.
you see Mickey 17? Back to films a little bit. The one with Robert Pattinson, and he has like clones of himself and shit like that. It's from the guy that made like
Yeah.
Snowpiercer or whatever the fuck.
It looks terrible.
I had a lot of fun with it. It was
Dude.
fun. It was fun. It was fun. I had a good time. I don't know if it's his best movie. I think Parasite or Snowpiercer is probably his best one, but that one's I had like some fun with it. It was way sillier than I thought, to be honest with you. I thought it was gonna be more like a serious kind of thing.
Exactly. It just looks.
Yeah, it's pretty silly.
It looks like I would get aggravated. If it-
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of films that have come out recently just aren't very good.
Mm.
I mean, even like the ones that you think would be good, like what was it, like the the Empire Summer Moon,
Empire Summer
the
Movie.
one with it was like the one with the Native Americans. And
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the Flower-
with Scorsese, my boy Scorsese.
that film could have been shorter.
Dude. So we were talking earlier how I had to stand up or like I felt uncomfortable in a movie theater. That's
was
the
it.
one.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I was like, I don't mind this movie. Like, honestly, I didn't know anything about the details about the situation, so I was interested. But dude, the last 30 minutes, I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta get the fuck
come
up,
on.
bro. Like, it's long.
Yeah.
This is very long.
Yeah. That was like another thing. The new Nosferatu. Oh my god, it felt so long.
I agree with you.
Because the original is not that long.
How do you feel about that one?
I love the original.
No,
I
the
think it's a
one,
great
the
piece.
recent one.
It was good. It was interesting. The sex scene type shit they could have left out. I also didn't like how they changed the moral of the story. Did you notice that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like
Because
acting wise, I enjoyed it, and the way it was directed, I enjoyed it for sure. I was like, this is phenomenal, and acting wise, is phenomenal. But story wise, was just like there was like a little disconnect with me where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if I'm like,
because the original story is all about the purity of the girl and how she didn't go to him.
mhm.
The whole idea is about her purity and her sacrifice. And in the new film, she was not pure.
Yeah, no,
There was none of that purity that I mean, it was just like an old classic tale of pure, true love. And it just wasn't there in the new one. And it was a different moral and a different story. And I don't know. I thought it was a little pointed that they did it on Christmas too. I mean, it was like, I don't give a fuck, but
yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, there was
interesting time to drop.
there was just something disconnected with me. I was just like, I don't know. And I like his other movies because I believe he did the Northman.
He did
and
The
shit like that,
Northman, yeah, The Northman. It's a great film. Like
And he did
cinematography
the
wise,
Witch and shit.
I didn't like that film. I own it.
hmm
I thought that was another film that could have been 30, 45
It's
minutes
shorter.
That's
It's
why I
tough,
did not like
bro.
it.
It's tough, man. Motherfuckers just be. I feel like certain directors get like carte blanche to just be like go crazy. Like Scorsese at this point, 3 hours. I'm expecting 3 hours regardless.
Yeah.
But it's like, should it be 3 hours? Even though they gave you the time, should it be that long? Like, I don't know.
I mean, that's where like the punk rocker in me comes from, like keep it simple, stupid.
Kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because some of my favorite movies aren't fucking 3 hours long, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like around 2 hours, maybe and a half. 2 hours and a half, I think, is like a perfect like length. Because at that point, you told a lot of story.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I love sitting down and watching the extended Lord of the Rings.
Dude, I've never seen those, bro. I have to watch them.
Do it once in your life, at least.
The extended ones.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot. It is literally like 21 hours. So like if for some reason you've got a 21-hour flight, do it.
What about like? Oh, you mean like in one session? Holy shit!
Just do it.
You're a madman.
I'm a madman. Whereas this was with music at one
I
point.
do you know who Midnight Spies are?
Yeah, love
Julian
those
and
guys.
yeah. So like
Yeah.
last time they were here, I put them on something. I was like, you guys need to watch the. I think I told them you need to watch The Departed, And then they were like, all right, but if we watch The Departed, you have to watch Lord of the Rings. And in my head, I'm like, that shit's like long as fuck. But I don't know if that's a fair trade, but fuck it, I'll do it. And I owe my friend Nikki, shout out to Nikki. I promised him that if he got into House of Dragons, that I would watch Lord of the Rings. So
You gotta watch Lord of the
I
Rings.
gotta watch it, man. So the extended ones are it then.
You could even do a little. I suggest you
The
do it with
Hobbit,
like a vape pen, if you know what I mean. Know what I
Oh,
mean?
yes,
And
yes,
every
yes.
time they're smoking the pipe weed, take a hit.
Mm.
Promise you, by halfway through the movie, if you just take one hit off of your pen, just not even a blinker, just like a normal hit, halfway through the movie, you're like, dude, what is happening? Because you're hitting it a lot more than you think you are. Like, yeah, there's a lot of pipe weed in it, but the extended version too.
Is there any? Should I even fuck with The Hobbit, or just kind of like leave that separated from it?
I don't know.
Because I guess
It's not my choice.
that's what I'm saying.
Back to the free will thing.
I feel like the isn't story wise The Hobbit before Lord of the Rings and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the story of Bilbo and how he acquired the ring and the killing of the dragon Smog. And
So I should watch that then. And then
you should
watch
read
Lord
the
of the Rings.
book.
Yeah, I should watch that. I should watch the animated movie that was like an hour or some shit.
Dude, I'm huge into the Lord of the Rings, dude. I've read the Silmarillion.
Oh shit!
I'm currently reading Huron of Huron and Turin. Is that what it is?
Did you enjoy Rings
know,
of
I
Power or what the
paused
fuck
it.
that was?
No, I didn't watch that shit. Like I said, the directors. I've seen the trailers for it. Like I said, I've read the Silmarillion.
This is not it, man.
It's just not it. I don't even want to. It's just not it.
I remember seeing the reviews and they were not kind to the shit, and I was like, damn.
Sauron was never described. He's just the embodiment of evil. It's like the Bible.
Like
It's
putting
a
a face to
metaphor.
something. Yeah.
It's like Genesis is a symbolic telling of a story. Well, the devil is a serpent in that story. And even then, I mean, you can go back to the language of it. Well, Tolkien takes a lot of that sort of writing style of that because he wanted to write mythology for England. That's what he wanted to do, was write a collection of myths as if they were England's stories from long, long ago. And so he used a lot of that sort of writing style from not just the Bible, but like, you know, the Epic of Gilgamesh and Norse mythology. Like, this man studied language.
Jesus.
So Sauron is just described in the Silmarillion as just like this dark creature. It's not really described as having a body or flesh.
There's no real like face to the fucking image or to the person.
That's why in like Peter Jackson's version, when Isildur is fighting Sauron and the hand gets chopped off and the ring falls, and Sauron literally collapses into ashes of dust, and the thing goes, because he's not really
It's not a
corporeal. He's not really real, but he is. He's just evil manifest.
Just manifests into this like almost energy, bro.
So I'm a musician.
I don't mind talking films, bro. Honestly, I don't mind talking films. We can talk music. How did you get into music, man?
Always been a musician. I've been playing guitar since I was like...
Oh, your father. I mean, shit, your
Yeah.
father. Yeah, your father kind of.
Yeah. So I've been playing guitar like all my life. I mean, I never became like a shredder or nothing. I think part of that was I saw Eddie Van Halen like when I was like a sophomore in high school.
Damn.
And I was just like, yeah, nobody can really ever do that again.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
I was like, yeah, nobody can ever really do that again. And like, that was like 1984, 1989. I mean, like, thrash is sort of over. I mean, there's a lot of thrash bands in Houston, and a lot of them are my friends, you know.
Mhm.
And it's sad to say, but I mean, like, and I think that's where my music has not really connected with more people outside of my own personal circle, is because of the fact that I was just making stuff that had already been done before, or just was so far out and out there that it wasn't really attractive to people who weren't already so ingrained into the scene.
Interesting.
And that's sort of what I think. And I think that's sort of where, like, all the Houston thrash metal bands, I mean, this probably goes not just out to Houston, but to the entirety of America. Every thrash metal scene in the nation has this degree of doing the same thing over. Like, I want to sound like Metallica. I I want to sound like Megadeth. I want to sound like Exodus. I want to sound like Slayer. And the list goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got all these bands who are doing the same exact thing, and there's not really anything new being said.
You think
or
there's some like
done.
repetitiveness to it?
Dude, it's all repetitive.
Mm.
I mean, and that's where I've gone wrong in certain places and done certain things, you know, is that I had fallen too hard on like this alternative sound of what should be alternative rock. But I mean, I was sort of just regurgitating what had been done throughout the 90s and the 2000s and all that. And it's cool to listen to once or twice, but once you've heard it once or twice, you don't really,
You know, find yourself going back to it.
because there's nothing fresh about it. And once I realized that, and I started experimenting with my last record I did, I started playing a lot more keyboard and synth and stuff, because I do
love
everything.
that. I love that, man.
I play the drums. I've got an electronic drum kit in my garage, and I hook it up to my laptop.
I'm a huge synth guy, bro. I love me a good fucking synth, bro.
So I'll be playing the drums, and then I'll record all that to my laptop, and then I'll send the file to my main computer, and then I'll plug that all in. Go over it with the keyboards or the guitars. It depends on the song, because some songs start with guitars, some songs start with bass.
What DAW are you using?
Pro Tools.
Pro Tools? Got you.
Pro Tools guy. I mean, I've used Pro Tools for almost 10 years now. So
I forgot which one my
Ain't
friend told me it
nowhere.
was like, is it Ableton that's hard as fuck? There's one of them that's like just not. They said they couldn't get into it. Might have been Ableton.
I don't know. Ableton's pretty easy from what I've heard from other people. I don't use it. I've used Logic Pro a couple times just because I had to.
Mm-hmm.
I like Reaper. If you don't want to pay for Pro Tools, get Reaper. However, Reaper did change dramatically since the last time I used Reaper, and I found that out recently.
Oh fuck.
Like the whole like UI had like changed dramatically, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to use Reaper anymore. And I felt really embarrassed, because I was helping out one of my buddies who lives in California get his DAW and everything set up. And I had told him, I was like, yeah, get Reaper, man. It's like the same thing as Pro Tools.
Mm-hmm.
I've been telling people this for years. And oh my God, when I found out I was wrong,
You're like, shit.
I was embarrassed. And I was like, how many people have I led astray the last couple of years? This is nothing like
You
Pro
didn't
Tools
know though,
anymore.
man. You didn't know.
I didn't know.
You didn't know.
But yeah, everything's different now. And so I'm like, oh, I don't know how to help you, dude. I'm so sorry.
Jesus.
But
So Pro Tools is it then, huh?
I like Pro Tools. I mean, to each their own. I mean,
Yeah.
the same goes for like guitars, you know, like people like Taylor's, people like Martin's, because of different playability things. I mean, it really depends on what you're doing, man.
Mm.
I use Pro Tools because most of my work is, you know, guitar based rock and metal and punk and alternative. So I was using Pro Tools. I mean, plus that's what I learned on at the Studio 713. I mean, it's the industry standard. as
Right.
people say.
Yeah. That's where I am with fucking Adobe, all these Adobe things that I have, Lightroom and Premiere and shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking expensive, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, shit adds up.
I used Affinity
Okay.
for a while before I got the Adobe suite. Affinity is a little bit cheaper. It's almost just as good. They got like some V2 thing now out, but I don't have it. I had the V1 version years ago.
Yeah, Adobe's not. It's just the price is like fucking annoying, to be honest with you. But in terms of their shit, I mess with it. It's only crashed a couple times. But I think it's more on like a spacing issue with my computer. I'm like, I have like a lot of
Yeah.
shit that I just need to delete.
Yeah, I've got a Mac Studio.
Okay.
It's like a year old now, I think, maybe not even. And
Hmm.
it's incredible. It's a powerhouse.
Damn, for real?
Yeah. Like I'm able to record in like Dolby Atmos and spatial audio and stuff. So it's
Damn,
it's just
okay.
a very powerful computer, at least at the moment.
It's
So-
crazy when you get that upgrade, eh? Because before I was using like a
Yeah.
laptop, an HP, a fucking Hewlett Packard computer, and I was just like, dude.
So my MacBook Pro. So for a while we didn't have a drummer.
Okay.
So we were playing shows, but we didn't have a drummer. It was just me, a bass
Did you have
player.
like a machine you just play the?
It was my
Okay.
laptop. We had we had this pre-programmed drum track. It was actually kind of cool because it wasn't just like a click track.
I love that.
What it was we would have like this intro thing, and we would open up with Afghanistan, and so we would have like these bomb shelter sirens go off,
Mm.
and we would hear the countdown, and we would time everything out, and we would know exactly right when that fourth thing went down, the fourth siren went down, the crash and the kick and the snare would hit.
Oh shit.
And
Okay.
that's when the song started. And we would rehearse these cues to the T. We would have like our guitar changes for like, guitar changes for like tuning changes and all that.
Mhm.
Rehearse. We had everything down to a T. We were a well-oiled machine.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
like, we have 14 seconds to change guitars for this thing. It was boom, 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 boom. And it was fun. It worked for the time being, but we needed a drummer.
Right.
If there was any recording of that first show, it'd be really, really cool to see. But
What year would that have been?
2021?
2021. Okay.
Yeah.
There
But,
might be.
huh?
There might be.
There might be somewhere. I know
Yeah,
there's
that
I
might
have
be.
snippets of the show, but they're only like from Snapchat, so it's only like
It's only like 10
10
seconds.
seconds
Yeah,
long.
Jesus.
but
I do like that. There's a lot of artists that I listen to, like JPEG Mafia, who just when he performs, he has a laptop and he just has a track list of instrumentals and he'll just go through it. Every once in a while, he'll have like the sound check guy go through it and be like, "Yo, can you put this song on when I'm performing?" For the most part, he'll just come out like guns a blazing, be like, "All right," and then this next song is so and so, and then he'll go to his laptop, click, and then like just go into the next song.
see, part of me wants to get back out there and do shows again, but it's just me.
Yeah,
So I'm like, I'm at the moment, I'm a little intimidated by that because like I feel like I could go do an acoustic show.
yeah. I would
And-
just say like a very stripped back performance.
And like I've done a live album. Like I did a live album with like some of my friends in my buddy's backyard. That's what the live at your mom's house is. It's
Mhm.
literally live at my buddy's mom's house. And that's his mom serving me pancakes on the cover
Yes,
of the
yes,
album.
yeah. I saw that the other day.
Yeah, that's his mom. God bless her. Anyways, where's it going? Like I could do live shows.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
what I'm
just, like,
saying.
I don't know. I'm intimidated by the idea of just doing it by myself. Like maybe I do just start doing like acoustic coffee shop things, and I just
That's like just an open mic kind of thing, like at a local
Yeah.
bar or some shit.
because it would be kind of cool hearing like because like I said, I'm going super into the synth stuff now and the orchestral stuff. Like I could not recreate this. Like I could recreate it live, but even if I had a band, it'd be impossible. It would
If you ever do one of those, let me know. I would love to like film you with like just
Okay.
like because the camera that I have, the lens is very powerful. It's like an art lens, like a
Yeah.
Sigma art lens. It's really really powerful. It's fucking expensive. It's way more expensive than the camera.
Yeah.
So I would love to film you. And then if we're somehow able to get the audio situation, like we're able to record that, oh dude, I'd love that.
Well, I
That'd be
mean,
incredible.
theoretically, you could just get an SD card and give it to the sound engineer and be like, "Hey, your board's got an SD card, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Hit the record button. Hit
Right.
play. Make sure this goes on that SD card. Make sure this goes on the SD card. Hey, did you hear me? This needs to go on this.
I would
SD card."
love to do that, man. I feel like that'd be a sick visual. Kind of a stripped back Terrible Texan.
Yeah, it would be cool.
It's like a one off. You could even do like just a track, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know. I've thought about doing an acoustic show, but like, I mean, I might get. I've been thinking about it. If I did it, I would want it to be a celebration because it would only be a one-off thing,
Mhm.
be a one-time thing. So I would want like maybe like an hour.
Okay.
I
I
would
was
need- I
asking
would-
about the time, yeah.
I would like sell tickets. Like I would make everything like huge, and it would just be like this chill evening.
Very intimate.
Yeah, yeah. And it wouldn't even have to be that big, but I feel like I could get like foreign policy on board. It'd be like foreign policy. Maybe I could get Kiko on board to play
Maybe.
guitar. Because
Some
like
unplugged action, bro.
yeah, like it would just be like an unplugged show. We
Mhm.
could get like a little drummer and a little bongo player and just hit like a song or two from each record. Play like popular music too. Like obviously I look like, Dave Grohl. So I mean
it's funny. As
play a
big
Foo
as
Fighters
big as
song.
of a new Nirvana fan I am, I've never actually listened to Foo Fighters like that.
I've listened to them occasionally.
I've only know like Hero and shit or whatever the fuck. I just never heard their like actual stuff. They're a huge deal though, bro. I remember like growing up and like hearing ads like Foo Fighters coming to town, this and that. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and then seeing a billboard and I was being like, holy shit, for like 94.5 The Buzz.
Yeah.
I'm hearing like, God, that's a big band. I had no idea they were that huge.
Even bigger today.
Stadiums type shit. It's crazy.
The thing I can't get is the fact that Metallica, being as huge as they are, they still make just as many mistakes. live.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I saw a video today of James Hetfield. He
They're
was
just
like,
fucking up.
turning into the fucking lion from the Wizard of Oz. You know, he's turning into that guy, and he's like
The
making
cowardly lion, bro.
Yeah. He looks like the uncowardly lion. And he's just like making mistakes, and you see him shake his head because he knows he's fucking up.
Oh,
And I'm like,
no.
it inspires me because it's like, you know what? He's making $4 million and he's fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of shocking, but it just reminds me that we're all human.
Yeah. It can't be a perfect.
Yeah, and then you hear like, you know, Taylor Swift, and every show's perfect because everything is just drum triggers and
Yeah, I don't know about Taylor, man. I could never get into her music. I honestly couldn't name like 5 songs. I know like there's a couple where I'm just like that I'm for sure I've heard her music, but I couldn't name you them. Like if I had to like list them out, I couldn't. I could probably list like 21 or some shit. I'm trying to think of the names and stuff, but
allegedly she's heard my music.
yes, really.
Allegedly. Because Dion, my buddy who it's his mom on the
Oh, yeah,
mom's
yeah.
house. He's a DJ. He goes by the name DJ Anubis. It's interesting because he's a very, very Jewish man.
Mm.
He's a very, very devout Jew. And he
Yamaka?
not yarmulke, not that kind of Jew, different kind of Jew. But he takes on this, you know, Egyptian goddess persona, and he wears the mask and everything. And I don't understand. And I've told him this. Everything I'm saying right now, he knows.
He knows how you feel.
He knows how I feel about this.
He knows, bro.
And I'm confused by it. But whatever. He reps the god Anubis every stage performance. And he's like, yeah, I was chilling with someone who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows Taylor Swift. And I was hanging out with her, and apparently we got on the phone and links were shared, and I showed her your music. And I don't know, I think he was just trying to be flattering. I doubt he
Really?
What are really the chances that Taylor Swift has heard of my neo alternative grunge overcompressed
You think she
music?
like at the most you think it's like a snippet? There's no way she heard like a full track.
No. She's got better things to do than listen to overcompressed alternative music.
I'm trying to think of her music like that, but I just can't. I don't know. What if she reaches out to you? Yo, I want TTT on my next album.
I don't know what I would do because I don't agree with her at all.
She's like, you also have to wear this Kansas City Chiefs jersey the whole time.
I don't like Travis Kelce. I don't like this celebrity worship.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I feel like they're kind of taking over like true journalism, which kind of throws me off a little bit.
Dude, I don't really know how to react to people who call me Kurt Cobain on a day-to-day basis. Like I short hair, long hair, it don't matter. I get called it all the
You
time.
get it. Even voice-wise, I'd say. Slightly.
I've heard that too.
Talking-wise, I don't know about like music-wise, but talking-wise.
For shits and giggles, I did a cover of a Nirvana deep cut called Token Eastern Song.
Mm.
And I tried. I was like, can I make myself sound exactly like Nirvana? And I could do it. And I showed the world I can do it. And I have it up. I mean, there have been times where I've thought about taking it off because it sounds like, hey, I'm just trying to rip off Nirvana. And I don't want people to think that I am because I already get alleged that I am because that's how I look. And then that fucking guy from the Gins. You ever heard of the Gins?
No.
They're this grunge band out of LA, and I know the guy knows of me.
The Gins.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy looks like Kurt Cobain. He knows he looks like Kurt Cobain.
He's like playing up to it a little bit.
He plays up to it all the time, and he does it for clout, and you can tell, and it just...
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
I don't like that, dude.
I don't fucking like it either.
I don't like that, man. That's rough.
I think literally the last song that they dropped literally rips off Come As You Are. Sounds like Come As You Are. And I'm like...
Is he wearing like plaid and shit? Or like...
yeah, you look it up. It's...
The Gins.
Yeah, and like people have been like, hey man, do you like the Gins? No, I don't like the Gins. They rip off...
Do you know who Greta Van Fleet is, bro?
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's obvious they're ripping off Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, right.
But they look the part and they act the part, and like they talk about their influences and all that. And
to
the
think how to
Jins,
spell it, bro. How do you spell
Jins
it?
is Jins.
Oh shit.
And like these guys, I mean, yeah, I mean,
Mm.
they're obviously just trying to play into the Nirvana thing, and they're just trying to get rich quick.
Damn, that's kind of crazy. Cause even the background guys.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Oh
And
man.
like literally in like all the photo shoots, like I'm wearing like in the first
Wow, that photo especially. Jesus Christ.
yeah, like in the first record, I'm wearing like a oversized motorcycle cut.
Mm.
That was the album cover of the first record. The second record was originally like a conglomeration. Like I made a collage out of different AI art things that I had made because I was like, AI is the end of the world. Therefore, I shall use AI art and I shall clip together a bunch of different things. And the title track was about revelations, pre-Christian me, talking about revelations and all that. And that was All Through the Night. It was the title track.
Mm.
And so I was like, all through the night, AI and apocalypse. And so I
Just
made,
typing it.
yeah. So I made that art, the first iteration of that art, with like an AI skeleton cowboy in a field of poppies with the stars coming through. And eventually, AI art just kept getting better and better, and more people started thinking that more and more negatively towards it. And even though my whole idea about it was to use it against itself, I felt like people were getting the wrong message. So when the eclipse happened a while ago, I got a cool photo of it from my dad, and I edited the photo and I replaced the album art
With that.
yeah. And I felt like it still ties everything together real well. And then the third album, is like a concept album. I was not in a good place mentally because like the band had broken up.
Mm.
Because going back to the whole story, I was doing the Afghanistan song, and Calvin, I met him whenever I was going to school, and he played guitar, and I was like, dude, I need help on this guitar solo because I'm not a shredder. 'Cause like I said, Eddie Van Halen did it all. This kid, literally a kid, he was in college. He was 17 years old. I didn't know this at the time. But I was like, hey, man, I really need some help. I know you said you played guitar. Like, you want to come over to my little studio and do a guitar solo? He's like, yeah, that sounds cool, man. I'll be over on Saturday. He came over and he did it. I'm like, dude, that was fucking awesome.
17.
He's like,
shit.
no, I messed up. Let me do it again. So he does it again, and that was it. That was the take. That's the one that's on the record, is that second take.
And
I was like,
by that point you knew, like,
I was
fuck
like, this guy's awesome. And I was like, dude, that was awesome. Like, you want a beer or something? He's like, dude, I'm 17. And I'm like, what? I was like, dude, I don't think I would have like probably even asked you to like, come over if I
if
knew
you were 17, yeah.
yeah, like I wouldn't, like, that's weird. Like, I'm a grown ass fucking man. And,
Mhm.
like, but I didn't know.
He's a prodigy or some shit, man.
We were in college. We met in college. I don't expect a college kid to be 17,
That is true. Damn.
Yeah, he was homeschooled. He was a genius kid and an incredible guitar player. He still is.
Mm.
And
Shout out. If you're
like,
listening.
unfortunately, thrash metal. Wick. That's the
Oh.
name of the band, is Wick. Now, essentially, he was a huge Dave Mustaine fan, and I became the Dave Mustaine of my own band. Essentially, I treated them pretty badly, especially towards the end.
Oh no.
And they're essentially the only people that don't forgive me for all the
Shit,
bad
man.
shit, which is fine. They have every right to be. I mean, I was being an egotistical drama queen, musician, rock star wannabe, and I had absolutely no right to do so,
Yeah.
But anyways, so this kid's killer on guitar, and we start jamming, and his sister Avery starts playing bass, and that's how that formed. And we recorded those 2 records, the Terrible Texan, the self-titled one, and then All Through the Night, which was like our second one. I didn't master the first record, but I did master the second. And then we started playing a lot more shows. Dude, everything was going so well, and I fucked everything up for all of us.
Oh shit, dude.
Everything was, dude, we were having people from like talent scouts for like White Oak and like Live Nation. Then we had a guy come up to us. I don't know the guy's, I think his name's like Mike or Dave or something. He comes up to us and he's like, you guys are really good. I don't know if I want to put you guys at the Bronze Peacock or White Oak upstairs just yet. I'll see you guys next time you guys have a show.
Mm.
We're like, okay. Well, we were having a show the next day. We knew he was coming out the next day. But we played the next show and we played another show. And then I had my fucking mental breakdown. Like I said, that's what it came down to. It was like a whole mental episode.
An existential crisis almost.
That's what it was. It was like my agnosticism and my broken back and all the pain I was going through had conglomerated into me just taking it out on everybody. Everybody around, my parents, my brother, just everybody. And it wasn't fair to anyone. And I was an asshole and I pushed my own band away and I mustained myself out of my own band.
Jeez.
And I felt regret about it. And that's why, or I didn't feel regret. I felt angry about it. So I was like, I'm going to make the loudest, most obnoxious, angriest,
that was the third record.
That was the third record. And the whole idea was to make this angry record, but to have it resolve in a peaceful manner. I don't think I accomplished that because the idea was violence, vice, and virtue, where everything in violence was talking about my anger and the pain and the hate that I had. The vice was talking about all the problems I had, problems with women, drugs, alcohol, all that sort
substances,
of stuff. All the nasty stuff, the vices of life. That's what it was about. And then virtue, trying to come out of all that pain and evil into something better. And I don't think I accomplished it very well because I was still very sick at the time. And I was still angry, And when I mixed that record, I just wanted to mix it loud, angry, heavy, and just make it I wanted to make it as loud as possible.
Would you ever find yourself, now that you're at this kind of peaceful, I don't want to say peaceful, but kind of this level-headed, very relaxed, you seem very chill, bro, I'll be honest with you.
I'm pretty chill nowadays.
At this like chill point in your life, would you ever go back to those records or even those like files and kind of fuck around with it a little bit more? You're kind of like, it is what it is, and that was that?
Well, I mean, here's the thing is that like I work on a track until it's good enough to release, or I just don't release it. There are so many tracks that I'm just like, yeah, this is going nowhere. And either I'll decide to put it on the back burner or I'll decide to scrap it. And that's it. Like I have a whole album that I have on the back burner. It's done. All the music is there. But I have it on the back burner because of life changes and stuff. I'm just not in that same headspace to write about it in a good enough way. So that's on the back burner. Ulysses of
the north side, south side.
Inside the north, south side, west side, east side, South by Southwest side podcast.
Shout out. I was just there yesterday. Shout out to my boy.
Hell yeah. I mean, he's listened to part of it, but it's a lot more orchestral and everything, and the whole thing is a lot more spiritually based and grandiose and all that. But I don't know. I felt like I needed to learn more and explore my faith more so I could come back with better poetry and truly expand upon it. Because like my whole idea with that record is sort of like George Harrison's like My Sweet Lord or All Things Must Pass. Like
I love that record.
Yeah, like Cloud Nine.
I love
I've got Cloud Nine on
My
cassette.
Sweet Lord. Yeah. I remember hearing I think Lennon or McCartney, they were talking about it, and they're like, dude, he's the only guy that I like heard that song and like he'll make you believe that like Jesus exists. Like he'll make he can be the most atheist person. You hear that, you're just kind of like, this is like enriching. This is like not biblical, but I mean kind of. It's just
he was a Hindu essentially at the end of it. He was a Hare Krishna. So
yes, the Hare Krishna. Holy shit! Yeah. Shout out to George Harrison, bro.
Yeah, shout out to George Harrison. Yeah, so he was always like my favorite Beatle, and that was sort of why I went down the Buddhism path. Was he was sort of Hindu, and I didn't. It's like I can't worship 1,482 gods. Yeah. There's not even that many days in the year.
Yeah, so it would be kind of difficult dedicating your time to like
breakfast feast of Shiva and the afternoon luncheon of Daharasha. Like
he was on that shit, man. Yeah. He was on that shit.
So I don't know. Maybe I was just trying to be a lazy Hindu and become Buddhist.
I find myself one of the reasons why I'm not, like I said, I'm not very religious at all, but like I do have a fascination with like certain aspects of religions, like Ramadan with like the Muslims and stuff like that. I was like, damn, this is crazy. This is like a very interesting like as a non-Muslim, I would like to practice that just to experience that kind of stuff and kind of see like what they go through. Because I follow a lot of sports and a lot of like there's soccer players that would like have to play during Ramadan, and there's like MMA fighters that have to train
Mhm.
during Ramadan. And I'm like, damn, that shit must be difficult, bro. You can't drink water or anything like that. Like you gotta like, I think they can drink water, but it's kind of like they say that like
Yeah, religious fasting has different meanings in every religion,
that's what I'm saying, man. So like, I don't know,
different
but
levels of it too.
mhm. I feel like it'd be an interesting video if I was just like as a non-Muslim, I'd like to participate this in terms of like all the aspects like meditating and shit like that, and kind of like being like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at peace and stuff.
That's really like the biggest thing is just finding your own peace in life. And I found it in the Eastern Orthodox Church, and someone else may find it in and literally anything.
Yeah,
But it's about my idea about it is going out and living that faith, living what you believe in, and trying to change society for the good.
yeah. I mean, you finding that and you're not harming anyone. No one's getting hurt. You're not doing anyone wrong. It's like you're literally bettering yourself.
Yeah, and that's sort of how the Terrible Texan is sort of transforming. It's almost like this big symbolic story of hello, I'm here. Hello, I'm spiritually sick. Hello, I'm angry. And then like with the fourth record, the Another Year Without You, like that's I mean, I ripped off the Smiths cover art for that, and that's why
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's sort of why everything's like that purplish pinkish thing. Is the
I
Smiths. I
love
love
this.
the
You're naming like
Smiths.
a lot of shit that I enjoy, bro. George Harrison, The Smiths. You mentioned Strokes and the Beatles earlier.
Yeah, yeah. Midnight's not Midnight's Fights. Sorry, guys. Not you guys.
Shout out.
Foreign Policy.
Foreign Policy.
Yeah. At the time, they will change their name to something else. Who knows what it'll be? But amazing, amazing record they made.
I gotta check it out, man.
It's not even out yet. It will be. Change your name, guys. Figure it out. Figure it out. Change your name.
By this point, you gotta change your name.
Yeah.
We were talking
Where
about
were-
we were
what
talking about the Terrible Texan.
Oh
and,
yeah,
and,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and,
So yeah, Another Year Without You. Like
mhm.
that whole record was about like, man, I really miss this one girl,
Mm.
and now I'm sort of at this point where it's just like, all right, now we've sort of grown up finally. Like, hey, I'm an adult with a prefrontal cortex that's functioning now.
Approaching
What
your
do I
30s,
do
man.
now?
We're approaching our
I
30s.
know, and it's like, holy shit, I just finally grew up.
That's how I feel now.
Yeah,
Like when it comes to situations, it's rare for me to blow up, bro.
yeah,
It's super. I don't even like raising my voice like that, to be honest with you. I feel like an asshole. But like, especially at work or something, like I'll like before I'd get into like a mode where I'm like, fuck everyone. Yo, fuck you guys. I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
doing my own thing. And people were trying to talk to me. I'm like, fuck, I don't have time for this. I gotta keep like going. And then like now I'm kind of like, I'll take it, I'll digest it. I'm like, all right, it's not the end of the world. And me, bro, I use time. Like I'll just look at the time and I'm like, all right, well, whether this shit gets done or not, within 5 hours I'll be home and like not have to worry about this shit at all. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
regardless of what happens here at work, like within a couple hours, I'm not even gonna be worried about this. Like I'm gonna be on my way home, like chilling.
yeah.
So like I kind of like see that the silver lining in certain situations where I'm like, all right, I just have to like put up with this for a little bit, then get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, so yeah, like you sort of see this in like the musical journey is like by the fourth record, I'm still like recording and like mixing everything in sort of like a punk way. But I definitely went back to more of like what I was doing like with the second record, which was like, something casual, easy listening that, isn't super I mean, it's still super aggressive and it's still super loud,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a lot clearer. It's obviously not over compressed to hell
Right.
and like it's not a noise rock record or noise metal record like the third record. And it's you can listen to it and you're like, wow, that was really kind of cool. And each thing, there's 12 songs on that album. It's called Another Year Without You. Each song is representative of a month. So like
Interesting.
the first one's Failed My Resolution. The second one is Woman Please Stay Out of My Dreams because it's like February is the month of love with Valentine's Day, but this woman's stuck in my dreams and I've dreamed about her every night and she won't leave. Stay
It'd
out.
be like that, man. It'd
And
be like that for real.
Yeah, and then
It's like that.
like March was about wow, holy shit, I should have been dead,
Mm.
but I'm here somehow still. Wow. And like then April showers because that was like the month we got together and it's like man. And I was just like reflecting about what would life be like now if we were still together
Mm.
around April and we were celebrating an anniversary and April showers. And I took that sort of imagery of just like a spring thunderstorm and put it to music. And the whole record goes on like that for an entire year.
Jeez.
And even like the music is sort of indicative. Is that the right word? Yeah,
Indicative? Yeah.
indicative of like the season. So like failed my resolutions a little bit cold and it sort of warms up a little bit and then it sort of gets colder again towards the end of the record. It's super cool. And I love what I did with it. I think that was like the best record I had done until the stuff I'm doing now. And like you can hear a little bit more synth and a little bit more orchestra going on in that fourth record. And then in volume 5, what I'm doing right now, there's horns and a lot more synth. It's a lot synth heavier.
Hell yeah.
I cut a lot of the guitars out and it's mostly just me showing off on bass and showing off on the synth and the piano.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I cut a lot of the guitar out, which was really hard for me, you know, heavy guitar rock. But I'm not doing guitar solos, so I sort of just use the guitars as like a texture thing for the most part. And I am gonna do a couple guitar solos in a couple places. I've got some people who want to do some features and some solo stuff. But besides that, I mean, there's like 2 or 3 synth solos.
Nice.
Where I'm doing
nice,
crazy
dude.
synth stuff.
Do you find that like now that you're drunk that you have like a full frontal like cortex kind of thing? Like do you find that like now you're able to like determine what is needed and what is not needed? Like you said, like like on those records, like you don't need a guitar on them. Like like you're able to determine like this is like that you don't need the guitar on that, or is it more like a still kind of a feel thing where like I don't think I need this?
It's a feel thing, man. I mean, because you got to think of like, we'll just start small. A song is a painting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say that, you know, a painting's worth 1,000 words or whatever. Well, you know, audio is an infinite painting of, you know, vibrations. You've got your low end, which is like your reds and your yellows and your oranges. And you've got your high end, which is like your purples and your blues and stuff. Whenever you think about it like that and you think about it, everything in like a mix. Did we just hear someone get shot?
You might have, bro. We are on the north side, I mean.
Okay, anyways. So, I swear to God, that sounded like a Tech 9 or something going off.
You're talking about the
I'm
colors.
concerned. You heard that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be in the clear. I think
Yeah, we heard the accordions going on.
Yeah, that's what
afterwards.
going on.
Oh, like some like quick draw thing went down and someone.
for real. Little Mexican standoff over there, dude.
Mexican standoff draw at high 5 o'clock.
Oh my God. That was loud though. I picked up on the recording.
The accordion and the like Tejano music is killing me though.
Oh, yeah, bro. Gotta keep pushing.
Souvenirs, victory to the winner. We got keychains, we got t-shirts.
Line up.
Get your favorite gunslinger merchandise. How
fucked it would it be if like we go outside and like someone legit got
like cops out there? Oh my God.
It happened before. Well, it wasn't no one ever got gunned down here, but I saw someone like crash, bro. Like to a fucking pole, like a telephone pole.
Yeah.
Dude, it was fucked up because like at the time, like
I got my 6 pole telephone pole.
Dude, at the time, like me and my ex were going through a breakup. We were both living here. But
she crashed.
Imagine, fuck. She was staying with her mom like down the street or like around the corner, and I was just there and it was storming like crazy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dude, I have to take a piss. So I like woke up at like 2 a.m. or some shit. And I was like, let me use the restroom. I'm coming back and I'm laying down. And like I'm closing my eyes, but like while I'm closing my eyes like open again, and then I just hear like a loud fucking crash, like loud. And I was like, holy shit. So I go outside and I see the truck engulfed in flames almost immediately, bro. Like the engine is just on fire. I'm like, holy fuck. And then like I'm like, dude, what do I do? Like, should I go over there, like try to help homeboy out? Should I like even approach the vehicle? Like I was like at a very point where I'm like, what the fuck? And then lo and behold, like the fucking cops pull up and shit like that, and they drag him out. And dude, it was so fucked because like I literally saw them like give up on like resuscitating him, because they were like bringing him out the car, doing chest compressions, and I literally just saw homeboy like do the last one. He kind of puts his hands on his hips, stands up, and then his head just like dips, and I'm like, oh shit. And they put him in the stretcher and they get him out of there. There's like a little memorial kind of thing there. And the funny,
Jesus Christ, this guy is super dark.
The freakiest thing was, bro, I recorded like a video of like, holy shit, like the fucking car was, I thought it was gonna explode or some shit. I was like, damn. So I recorded a video. 2 days later, I hear a knock on my door, and I'm like, hello, what's up? And she's like, do you have that video of my son that crashed? And I was like, huh? She's like, yeah, you remember, like, you saw that car crash here? I'm like, yeah. I was like, dude, I have a video on my phone. I was like, is it this one? I show it to her, and she's like, no, it's not that one. I'm like, what did you see then? What happened? She's like, I don't know. She's like, there's a neighbor that like is on this side that recorded it, and someone had posted it online. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I just have this one. Honestly, I was like, this is the only video that I got.
This one? What?
I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, if you know anything, if you see it, like, let me know. I'm like, I got you. Like, I gave them my number and shit, but I was like, I don't know what the fuck.
I thought like the car accident was like the result of some like cartel thing going on, and like the cartel was like, hey, delete that video.
Holy shit. Well, it was a trip because she was like,
we don't know nothing, man.
Because I only sent that video to like my ex and like I think my mom, and I was like, dude, isn't this fucking like crazy? So like the fact that she knew I had a video on my phone was a trip, bro. I remember just looking at my phone being like, holy fuck, how do you know I have this?
Wonder if she hired some private investigators.
I don't know. It was her and her son, or his brother. So I really don't know. But I was just like, it was such a trip, and I was like, dude, I'll let you know if anything happens. But I haven't seen that video of this car crash or anything like that. But it's just nuts, man. It did get dark.
It got dark.
The shot got fired and everything went dark, man. Jesus.
Well. Yeah, dude. No. Well, what now?
I don't know, man. Any how long have we been going? We've been going for a minute. We've been going for a minute. Any closing thoughts, man, before we head out of here? We covered a gambit of topics. Be a good person.
Be a good person.
Practice good things, I'd say. From everything you tell me, man, practice good behavior.
Yeah. Think about others once or twice before you think about yourself. And 9 times out of 10, if you're feeling bad about something, think about your own actions. Move forward from there.
I agree with you.
The Terrible Texan, all the music is just one big story of redemption. Really
any social media pages you want to link, bro? Other than Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. I mean, I don't really post very often. Honestly, you can just add me on Snapchat, the Terrible Tex.
Terrible Texan.
I mean,
and merch, no?
Yeah,
you're a
merch,
big
Amazon,
guy, yeah.
fucking really anywhere. Website, TerribleTexan.com. I got some vinyls now. Everything,
Fuck yeah, dude.
everything but the third record, because frankly, the third record is so long, I couldn't get a deal on.
Is it a double LP kind of thing?
It's 3 EPs put into one package is what the third album is. So I couldn't really get a deal on that for getting it pressed in a vinyl, because it's an odd length of time and it would have cost too much. It was a complex.
I imagine like just pressing in general is expensive.
Yeah, I don't make a lot of money, but you should just get the vinyls anyways.
Nah, for sure.
Cool. But yeah, no, the first record, the second record, and the fourth record are all on vinyl, and the fifth record will also be on vinyl when that comes out. There is no date for that, but yeah,
cool.
It'll,
I appreciate you coming by, bro.
dude,
I
thank you for
enjoyed
having
our
me. It was an
discussion immensely.
Amazing
I
discussion.
had a lot of good times, man. I feel like I said, I feel educated.
Good.
I feel very, very educated, especially when you're talking about like how like some things in terms of the religion you were talking about, like how things are like lost in translation and stuff.
America's fucked. That's all I gotta say. But it's not absolutely fucked.
And on that note, guys, that's gonna do it for this week's episode of A Thinking Boy Podcast. I have been your host, Cesar Perez, with
The Terrible Texan.
till next time, guys. Peace.
Bye-bye.